Just one step into the hallway and I could already hear all kinds of whispers going all around. What happened? Did you forget, Sandra? It's Monday. Oh, not again. Who's the unlucky victim this week? Dorothy! It's Dorothy! Look what embarrassing deed she's done. So, it was a photo of the resident mean girl, Dorothy, on a date with some old rich guy. Ben and I had zero interest in those kinds of things, but these kids on the other hand... Hey, there she is! This was the third Monday in a row that our school had turned into this gossiping chaos zone. Why, you ask? 3 weeks ago, out of nowhere, a bunch of random QR codes appeared stuck to some of the lockers. Curious, we scanned them and got access to this mysterious blog by someone called Quiet Night. They said they wanted to expose the true face of this prestigious school. So, every Monday at 2 a.m., they would reveal someone's dirty secret. And the first secret belonged to the beloved basketball team captain, Lewis. Turns out he flunked the last match on purpose so the rival school that his secret girlfriend attended would win. At first, everyone doubted it, but then someone found the girlfriend's Twitter where she posted a celebration photo. So, there you go. Everything became clear as day. Lewis immediately lost his captain title and the entire school canceled him. While everyone was still buzzing with that, already came the next Monday secret. It was Mr. Worthing, our popular math teacher. His classes were known for their top performances, but as it turned out, he had always accidentally leaked the questions to his students before every exam. The rumor reached the principal, and he immediately had people look into it. Unfortunately, it was true, so Mr. Worthing was fired. And as you've heard, little Miss Dorothy was the third unfortunate victim. To be honest, she definitely hadn't been the nicest girl. She's a nightmare to all the new kids especially. So when her shameful secret was revealed, everyone seemed to be somewhat satisfied and talked about it nonstop. My BFF, Mary, was no exception, as Dorothy was a rival for her queen bee status. At lunchtime, we arrived at the cafeteria, but weirdly, nobody lined up to get lunch. They were all looking around at something. Turns out Dorothy was here too. She's sitting alone at a table. Not wanting to miss an opportunity to taunt her longtime rival, Mary rushed straight over there. What's wrong? Your bald lover didn't take you out to lunch today? As soon as those words came out of Mary's mouth, everyone burst out laughing. Benjamin and I had to drag Mary out of there right away to avoid any calamities. What are you guys doing? I'm not done yet. This isn't cool. Let's just stay out of it. What? She deserves it. You know the clearest what a horrible person she is, Sandra. Or have you forgotten how she picked on you? Well, it's true. I was also one of Dorothy's victims when I just got here. Ben and Mary were the ones who stuck up for me. That's also how our precious friendship all started. Ever since then, we've been the iconic trio of the smartest kids at school. Pretty sweet, huh? However, the recent dramas have undeniably affected our studies. It's like students are coming here just to gossip, and they keep chatting in class, making concentrating extra hard. Monday mornings became the biggest event in school. Everyone looked forward to it, guessing who's the next chosen one, as the embarrassing secrets continued seeping out. How Justin looks cool chewing his gum all the time, but he actually does this to mask his bad breath problem. Hardworking Julia bought her essays off the internet. The parking lot car spray painter turned out to be none other than Goody Two-Shoes Brandon. It became apparent that any one of us could be next. So people started to panic, praying that their name wouldn't be mentioned. Every Monday morning, I arrived at school to see everyone looking like zombies, cause they'd all stayed up all night waiting for the Quiet Night's post. The mystery blogger had to be one of us to know all kinds of personal secrets like this, so everyone became extra cautious of each other. It's a mess, and this has to stop. We needed to figure out who the Quiet Night was and stop this, but Mary wasn't convinced. How are we supposed to find them? There's zero clue. Stop wasting time. Let's just focus on studying, Sandra. There's no way they didn't leave any trace. We just have to stand up together. Nope. If you want to, then just do it alone. What's wrong with you? Weren't you usually the first one to avoid dramas like these? Because we could be next. So what? I'm not scared. I have nothing to hide. Then she left in a sulky manner. Mary might not care, but I did. I spent the night trying to piece the clues together when my phone had a pop-up. Was it 2 a.m. already? Who could it be this week? I pressed to see. It's Mary! Oh no, is it about that thing? Yep, that's it. The secret about Mary's background has been revealed. Her parents aren't successful business owners, and of course, Mary is not a rich mistress like how she always acted like either. I accidentally found out about this when I saw her bargaining about the rent in front of a small house in the suburbs. When I asked Mary why she had to lie like that, she just got all defensive. What do you know? If people knew the truth, they would laugh in my face. I, of course, didn't want to hurt Mary, so I always kept it a secret. But now, everyone has found out in the worst way. The next day, Ben and I saw Mary walking toward us, looking exhausted, while everyone's eyes were on her.
Yo, how'd you think she's able to afford those flashy outfits?
Didn't that blogger say she always wears cheap secondhand clothes? Pathetic.
Hearing those words, Ben and I gave those kids death stares and rushed to get Mary out of the crowd, but she suddenly snapped at me.
Sandra, you're behind all of this, aren't you?
Huh? What? Mary, what do you mean? Why would I do that?
You're the only one who knew my secret. If it wasn't you, who else could it be? You are the quiet knight.
What she said quickly caught everyone's attention, and I felt everyone's curious eyes fixed on us. Mary, that's not right. Remember, it's Sandra who called on everyone to find the culprit.
That was clearly a distraction to fool everyone.
Mary then continued explaining her reasonings for why she suspected me. The blogger only ever typed in lowercase just like I always did, and she also mentioned my habit of staying up late. To make it even worse, the next Monday, that blogger suddenly stopped posting, making everyone certain it was me. So I was instantly labeled a traitor to my friends and even a germ who raised hatred among students in this school. Everywhere I went, people badmouthed me, and no one except for Benjamin wanted to sit by me at lunch. I wasn't even allowed in the library anymore, as everyone would be talking about me, which would cause disturbance. Worst of all, the teachers hated me too. One time in math class, I volunteered to solve a difficult equation, but all I got back from the teacher was,
Sandra, if only you just used your intelligence for studying, not for messing up other people's lives.
Then everyone heartlessly laughed at my face. The tension was draining me, so I went out to take a breather. After recess, I got back to the classroom to find a box in my desk drawer. Oh no, wasn't it the love letters I'd written for Louis? I mean, yes, I used to have a crush on the basketball captain, but it was a long time ago, and I never sent the letters. How come they are all here? I sure had hidden them in the corner of my locker. Is it the creepy quiet knight messing with me? Ugh, that's enough. I gotta unmask this jerk ASAP. Who could it be? Who had the ability to spy on people undetected? I was trying to figure this out when a smug-looking Dorothy appeared. Geez, look at her. Can't believe she's the coward who destroys what she couldn't have. Too bad for Louis that he ended up involved in this.
Oh, such a pathetic little girl. Doesn't even have the guts to send any of the letters.
Oh my god. Did they just say letters? What letters? What on earth are you talking about? There's no mistaking your handwriting. She showed me bunches of photos of my letters. Oh no, did she take revenge on me because she thought I was the snitch of her dating news? Not leaving me a chance to explain, they just laughed and continued mocking me. I couldn't face going to school and being tormented for something I didn't even do. So I faked being sick to stay home for a few days. But it's been a week and I still didn't feel better. Suddenly, there was a strange sound by the window. Turns out it was Benjamin.
Sandra, please stop hiding away. You can't let them beat you. You're better than this.
What else can I do? Everyone's convinced it was me.
Follow me. I know someone who can help.
Now, I was sitting in a cafe with Benjamin, and Max, an IT genius in our school. Benjamin insisted this guy could help identify the anonymous blogger. After just a few minutes of checking the IP, Max has been able to track it down. But, it led to Mary's place? No way. This makes no sense. I gotta talk to Mary.
Calm down. Don't say a word about this to anyone for now. Just let me take care of it.
I had no clue what Benjamin was planning. He said he would help me clear up the case, but nothing happened for days. Until now, he insisted I'd come to watch this basketball game. What's the point? It just gave others a chance to mock me further. While immersed in my thoughts, suddenly I heard someone's voice on the loudspeaker. It was Benjamin.
Hi everyone. I'm sure you guys are tired of the Quiet Knight's blog by now, right? Yeah, at first, I just wanted to entertain you all a bit after boring hours of studying, but I guess it's no longer fun, huh? I'm sorry then. I'll stop now. Thanks for tuning in.
What on earth is he doing? Now the entire sports hall was buzzing.
Is it really you?
Benjamin was about to reply when Mary jumped out.
No, it can't be you. Stop wasting time protecting Sandra. How could you possibly know where her love letters were kept? Or about Dorothy's secret?
So, you tell me, who knew those things then?
Mary looked taken aback and confused. Then Dorothy appeared. It's her. It's her who gave me Sandra's locker key. What? So it really was Mary. I was still hoping that Ben's friend made a mistake somewhere instead, but... Why, Mary? I don't understand.
Of course you don't. You're not in my shoes to judge.
Turns out at first, Mary created the blog for the sole purpose of getting revenge on Louis for being a cheater. He always told Mary that he wanted to date in secret to avoid peering eyes, but it was just an excuse so he could sneak around with other girls. Which is why this was news to both Ben and me.
How about the math teacher? What has he ever done to you? He had no work ethic, so he deserved it. I always studied really hard, but he said that girls like me only ever cared about our appearance. He still thought my good grades were from copying these two. And you, Dorothy, it serves you right for the arrogant habit of bossing newbies around. Then she blatantly left the crowd as if she had nothing to do with the school drama all this time. I tried to chase after her, but I was stuck amid this angry crowd. There's still something she hasn't explained yet. The following days, Mary still went to school, but all of the other students isolated her. Benjamin and I tried to approach her, but she went out of her way to avoid us. So, after school, we decided to follow her. We saw her going to the cafeteria, but not to buy things, but to help the lunch lady clean up. Mary, stop being like this. You've still got a friend in me, but don't you think I deserve an explanation too? She then finally sat down and talked to us. Mary would have stopped after exposing the 3 people she hated, but when she saw everyone eagerly waiting for the news every Monday, she found it interesting and continued to bring up other embarrassing things. But then, when things started getting serious, she panicked and looked for someone to blame, and that person was me! Because I was the one who first came up with the idea of tracking down this anonymous blogger. Furthermore, she was angry with me for finding out her secret, envious because I got better grades than her, and jealous because I was closer to Ben than she was. Mary admitted she felt outshined and left out. So, you decided to expose your own secret you kept for so long just to frame me? Do you hate me that much? No, Sandra, it's not like that. I'm really sorry. As for that secret, I had tried to act like a hot girl from a rich family just to be worthy of that jerk Lewis. But since I know he's a bad guy, there's no point of keeping that secret anyway. Ben and I leaned over and hugged her, saying it was all okay. As long as we are honest from now on, we'd be able to sort everything out. After that, we helped Mary clean up the messy tables in the cafeteria. And can you believe it? The lunch lady is actually Mary's mother. She was the one who unintentionally told Mary all the petty secrets that everyone gossiped about while getting lunch. Mary has always hidden the fact her mom's the lunch lady, but after being exposed and boycotted, she gave up and decided not to try hard for the popular girl title anymore, but just to be herself. I knew that this was hard for Mary, but deep down she has a good heart, else she wouldn't have befriended me when I first started at this school. Living up to the expectations of being the school's it girl must have been exhausting. It's been a semester full of drama, hasn't it? Phew, lucky it's almost over. Now we're in a hurry to revise all lessons together to prepare finals week. We still compete with each other a lot, but this time it's fair and square. The 3 of us already decided that whoever gets the lowest score will have to take the other 2 out for dinner. Free food, here I come, as I definitely am not going to lose.
This view of the Alps is magnificent. Wow, I've never felt this free before. Huh? Hang on. Are those meowing sounds that I'm hearing? I followed the sounds to the raging river nearby, and there, stuck on a rock in the middle of it, was a terrified cat. Oh no, poor baby. I've got to help it. I quickly grabbed onto the nearby tree, then leaned out towards the rock with an opened umbrella on the other hand for the cat to jump onto. The cat hesitated for a bit before making the leap, but it's heavier than I expected. I lost my balance and tumbled into the river. I grabbed the cat just in time, but the strong current made it impossible to float. In a panic, I screamed for help, but the waves lapped over me and gulps of water filled my mouth, and just like that, I felt my surroundings darken. Ugh, what was this wet, scratchy thing rubbing on my face? I opened my eyes to see that cat sitting on me. Thank goodness it was okay, but where am I? This seemed like some kind of rustic cottage house. Suddenly, a man walked into the room with a food tray. Who are you?
Relax, I'm the one who jumped into the river to rescue you both.
Turns out he happened to pass by the river while we were swallowed by the current, and he didn't hesitate to jump in to save us, then brought us back to his home. Oh, thank you for everything.
Sure, here, eat up. So, how come you and Topaz fell into the waterway?
Who? Oh, you mean the cat? How come you know his name?
It says it right here, see? I'm guessing this is not your cat then?
I told him how I accidentally found Topaz, so its family must live around here somewhere. Hearing this, he agreed to help me find Topaz's owner the next day. He even gave me his bed for the night, then walked out saying he'd sleep on the couch. But as a guest, I couldn't let him do that, so I just grabbed the blanket and went to sit next to him. You have a cool tattoo there. Kinda looks like a mini Mars, right?
Nah, it's my birthmark. The only thing my parents left me.
Hans then told me that he grew up not having a clue who his parents were or why they abandoned him. At 18, he moved out of his foster home and came here to become an herbalist. I felt so bad for him, and in a way, I could relate. Being alone is difficult, but having both mom and dad won't guarantee your happiness. I was born into a well-off family with both of my parents, but the thing was, they only got together due to an arranged marriage, and they have resented each other ever since. My house always felt so cold and empty, and I hated staying there. So, as soon as I graduated high school, I took a gap year to travel the world. Actually, Switzerland is my first stop. Gotta say, it's nice to have someone to talk to like this. I guess Hans felt the same way by this look he gave me. He seemed very touched. The next morning, we took Topaz to the town to ask around. Turned out, today was their annual festival, so a horde of people crammed along the street to celebrate and watch the parade. Hans held my hand so I didn't get lost, but somehow the crowd still pulled me away and I ended up stuck among these sweaty people. Suddenly, a hand grabbed mine and led me out of there. Phew, thank God, I couldn't breathe in there. And you know what? A super handsome, stylish guy was standing in front of me.
Are you okay?
That's when I noticed the tail of my shirt was ripped. Freaked out, I tried to cover it up, so he took out a silk scarf and tied it around my waist. For a second there, I froze to the spot, so amazed by his thoughtfulness. Just at that moment, my phone buzzed with a call from Hans. He told me to meet him at the fountain. Slight problem? I had no idea where that was. Well, lucky me, this gallant guy offered to take me there. We talked along the way, and I found out his name's Willard. He lives in a nearby town and was here for the festival. I told him I came to find the owner of the lost cat I'd found. Then, when I showed him the picture of Topaz, he couldn't hide his shock.
Are you sure this is the cat you found?
I nodded. He stayed silent for a while, then said,
I might know its owner, but I gotta go now. Bring the cat to meet me there. Faye, it was nice meeting you.
Then he bowed down to kiss the back of my hand before he left. How sweet! I watched as he disappeared into the crowd. Thanks to Topaz, I got the chance to meet him again.
Why are you making that funny face?
I told him about my encounter with Willard and convinced him to come with me to the address on the handkerchief. He seemed skeptical at first, but then gave in. I mean, other than this, we had no clue. It was worth a shot, right? The next day, we went to the place Willard told us. But, seriously? Is this right? Why were there a line of people all holding near-on identical cats to Topaz? They even had the same collar as him. What is going on? I walked over to ask an old man sitting on a bench. He told me the millionaire lady who lives here had lost her dearest cat, Topaz. People said his name was on the top of her inheritance list, and she promised to greatly reward anyone who safely returned him, so these frauds were trying to deceive the owner by bringing some Topaz look-alike here.
But Madame Primrose is no fool.
Huh? Madame Primrose? The iconic designer and president of Wisteria Fashion Corp?
That's right.
Oh my God! I immediately dragged Hans to stand in the line. You see, my childhood dream was to become a fashion designer, and, of course, the one I admired the most was none other than Madame Primrose. Ah! One of the reasons I came to Switzerland was to find her and hopefully become her apprentice. And now look, what are the odds? Finally, it was our turn, but...
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. All right, everyone, listen up. Madame Primrose won't accept any topazes from now on, as she's tired of your deceit. So, disperse.
What? We didn't just wait half a day here for nothing. Fine, I'll find another way to get in. We then walked around the mansion and found its side gate. Then, just when we were climbing over it, a maid caught us, but she didn't make a fuss out of it. Instead, she seemed a bit flirty towards Hans. Ooh, I had an idea. There's our chance. You go and charm her. He seemed confused at first, but then got the point.
Hey, I think you're really cute.
Hans then tried his best at flirting, and as soon as she swooned, I asked her to help us return Topaz to his owner. The maid hesitated at first, but when we said that we didn't need to be repaid or anything, she agreed to let us in. We quickly split up to find Madame Primrose. I wandered the maze-like hallways, then I suddenly bumped into someone. Mind your way! Wait, I don't know you. What are you doing here?
She's my new friend. Is there a problem?
I'm sorry, young master. It was Willard. He came to rescue me again. Great to see you again, young Master Willard. You live here?
Why didn't you call me when you arrived? Did you bring the cat? Where is it? Give it to me right now.
Willard, calm down. Topaz is safe. I just found out his owner is Madame Primrose and...
I'm her grandson. Just give the cat to me now.
His agitated behavior didn't seem right. I took a few steps back from him, refused to do what he said, then ran.
You don't understand.
Just at that moment, Hans and Madame Primrose appeared.
There you are. Are you okay?
He worriedly asked. But boy, all I could see right now was Madame Primrose. She approached me, held my hand, and repeatedly thanked me for risking my life to rescue Topaz. This was amazing, but why did Willard just leave without saying anything? Madame Primrose invited us to stay for dinner that evening. Joining us were Willard and his mom, Agneta. Madame then told me how much Topaz meant to her. 20 years ago, she lost her son, Mr. Alvarez, to a car accident. Then, a year later, her grandson Leroy disappeared. Her grief was almost unbearable, but then she was gifted a cat, Topaz, and thanks to him, she began to heal. I tried comforting her by saying she still had Willard, her other amazing grandson with an excellent fashion sense inherited from his grandma. But to my surprise, Madame Primrose said Willard isn't her real grandson, since Agneta is actually Mr. Alvarez's second wife and was a stepmom to the missing grandson Leroy, and Willard was her son with her ex-husband. I could see Willard and his mom were feeling so uncomfortable. Willard must have felt so hurt as Madame Primrose never even thought of him as a family member. Then my train of thought was interrupted by Hans. Why didn't he just tell me to pass him the salt instead of sticking his right arm to my face like this? Suddenly, Agneta gave him a mortified look and spilled wine all over the table.
Mom, are you okay?
She didn't reply, but just left. I could tell it was because she saw Hans's birthmark. What could this be? Has she no manners? She must be unwell. I'll go check on her. So I followed her to the garden gazebo. That's where I heard her talking to someone on the phone. You had one simple job. Take that pampered Moggy miles away. Well, guess what? It came back. I gasped in shock, and right then, a hand covered my mouth.
Shh! Be quiet.
Oh, but it gets worse. The stupid cat brought Leroy, the missing grandson, home. That's right. I saw that Mars birthmark with my own eyes. If Primrose finds out about this, we're done. You hear me? Wait, so Leroy, Madame Primrose's only grandchild, is actually Hans. And his stepmom was the one who secretly gave him away in the first place. Even worse, I was hearing this shocking news with her son. Willard, get it together. Do you know anything about her plan?
I knew Mom was behind Topaz going missing. That's why I tried to take the cat away earlier, to keep him safe from her. But Leroy too? That was just heartless. What should I do now? She's my mom, after all. I could see his pure and kind soul being tormented, and my heart ached for him. I know it must be hard, but you need to tell Madame Primrose the truth and make things right. That's a way to help your mom redeem herself, okay? He stared at me with those dreamy eyes of his, and I felt my heart turn to mush. But a phone call from Hans interrupted us. He was looking for me, saying we gotta go. Right, I had to tell him the truth. In a cab back to Hans's cottage, I told him everything, and he just burst out laughing, saying, I'm Leroy, the heir of a millionaire? Oh, please. I'm serious. You were brought to the foster home exactly 19 years ago, and you both have this one-of-a-kind birthmark. Okay, so what if I'm really her grandson? I don't even know her, and I'm definitely not rich kid material.
You've been lonely your entire life. This is your chance to find the family you've always wanted. Hans was speechless. It seemed I'd hit his weak spot, and he finally agreed. We asked the driver to take us back to the mansion. But no one was awake at that hour except a gardener. He led us to a library deep into the mansion, brought out tea, and told us to wait. Just a few minutes later, Hans started coughing, and his face swelled up. Oh no, he must have been allergic to something in the tea. Panicked, I screamed for help, and the gardener came back and carried Hans to the car. But then a hand muzzled me from behind, and everything went dark. I woke up with my head pounding and unable to move. As I tried to make sense of the situation, I realized I was tied to a chair, mouth taped, surrounded by some rusty, unsanitary medical tools. And on the other side of the room, Hans was unconscious and tied to a patient's bed. Standing next to him was Agneta and the gardener, and a guy in a blouse with some kinds of tools in his hand, about to do something to Hans's birthmark. I tried to scream and struggled to break free, but I couldn't move an inch. Right at that moment, Willard barged in.
Stop this! Leave right now, or I'll call the cops for your unlicensed business. And Mom, I already know everything, so please, have some remorse.
Agneta looked so ashamed of herself. Willard, everything I did it for you. Please understand. You saw how that old hag Primrose treated me. I was so miserable. Then your dad offered to help me.
Dad? You mean Tim? How can he be my dad? Don't be such a wimp, son. I've stayed and worked here like a servant just to be close to you. We did all this so you can be the only heir. You deserve that. Now, finish it.
I can't, Tim.
Get away from my mom, you dirtbag. You never cared about me. You only moved here to manipulate her to do your dirty work. A terrible person like you will never be my dad. Then I'll do it.
As he was about to lay hands on Hans, suddenly there was a meowing sound and Topaz appeared, followed by Madame Primrose. Step away from my grandson. You dared to live under my roof all this time and play foul tricks on my family? Take him away. Luckily, Hans came round, and he had a tearful reunion with his grandma. They finally had the closure they deserved. Hans decided to stay in the mansion with his long-lost family. He's even planted an herbal garden there for treating and healing people, as he always wished. Madame Primrose had finally found peace, as now she had both her beloved grandson and precious cat back. She also thought that maybe she'd been too strict on Agneta, so she decided not to press any charges against her. Agneta had also apologized, but she felt too full of shame to stay and decided to move out of the mansion. Willard followed his mom and helped her start a new life. What about me? Well, I got the thing I've always dreamt of, to be Madame Primrose's apprentice. That's her gift to me for bringing both her cat and her grandson back. And, right now, I'm late for a date with a very special guy. Can you guess who it is?
Wow! This place was like a life-size dollhouse. It was huge and whoa! Was that a whirlpool bath? I was in heaven.
Slow down, dear.
OMG! You even have an indoor badminton court? I love badminton! This was the most amazing house ever! Hey, I'm Helen, and I grew up in a normal house with a normal family. I love my parents. And life was great and all, but the one downside was the long journey to my new high school. My mom, Grace, said she had the answer to this and suggested I go and stay with my Aunt Lucy, as she lived closer to the school. Okay, so I'd never met Lucy before. Actually, until Mom mentioned her, I didn't even know I had an aunt. Mom explained that Aunt Lucy moved to Canada for business and had only returned to the US recently. This was the first time I had to live so far away from my parents, so I was kind of worried I'd get homesick. But one advantage was my bestie, Madeline, lived right nearby. Awesome, right? Besides, this place was dope. I couldn't stop gawking at that badminton court. Seriously, it was bigger than my house. Aunt Lucy, I guess you must really like badminton.
Yes, many people think it's just a backyard game, but it's a true sport to me.
Wow, it was a rarity to meet someone with the same taste as me. We chatted for ages about our interests. Lucy was so easy to talk to, and I honestly felt like I'd known her for years. I would love to become a pro badminton player, but Mom thinks I should keep it as a hobby and find a more stable career.
I see, but don't let others discourage you. The true passion is worth pursuing. Let me arrange a training schedule for you. Now, try this.
Oh, how do you know I like lobster linguine? At first, living with Lucy was like being in a dream world. She pampered me, bought me clothes I wanted, and cooked the most delicious dishes. But beneath the shine, there was also a darker side. Lucy was super strict. I mean, major general level strict. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. each morning for training, run laps of it for an hour, and hit 50 shuttlecocks over the net in a row. If I missed one, I had to start over again. Meanwhile, I still had to keep up with my homework, and I couldn't go and meet my friends on the weekend or do anything without asking Lucy for permission first. At least at school, I could vent to Maddie about it. I expected her to agree with me, but she shrugged and said, I guess your aunt just wants the best for you. Besides, your badminton skills have improved loads. If I could live in a luxurious house, eat delicious food with such a caring aunt, I'd so put up with a grueling training schedule. Yeah, I guess she's right. Maybe I should be more grateful. Of course, on finding out about the school badminton club, I immediately signed up for it. I was walking over to the court, swinging my racket about and ready to show off my skills, when these two guys approached me.
Go back to the cheerleading team where you belong, sweetie. Leave the court for the real pros.
How dare these idiots judge me like this? They hadn't even seen me play. Oh yeah? I challenge you to a game. Then we'll see who's serious.
We're the best players in the school, just so you know. Pick one.
Suddenly, another guy appeared next to me and said,
Then let's play doubles.
Oh my god, he's Tyler, the best badminton player in the whole school. I've heard all about his reputation and seen photos of him with a trophy in the school newsletter, but I've never met him before. Surprisingly, he's even cuter in person.
Pfft, you can defeat us in singles, but can you cover that useless girl in a duo match?
That's it. Scoot over. Let me show you what this useless girl can do. The game started and instantly, Tyler and I vibed on the court and were hitting the shuttlecocks at lightning speed. We won in straight sets, and those losers looked so bummed out. Tyler seemed super impressed, and then,
Good game, Helen. Do you want to hang out again? How about tomorrow? We could go get some food.
Mamma mia! How can I say no to that?
But when I told Aunt Lucy, she didn't take it so well. Love may seem appealing, but it's a waste of time and energy that will lead to a decline in your badminton abilities, your grades, your mood, everything. You're too immature to deal with those type of emotions right now.
This was ridiculous. I wasn't a little kid. I was perfectly capable of making my own decisions and following my own feelings. He's a sweet guy who helped me out.
Of course he did. All guys appear nice at first.
Maybe if you just gave him a chance.
Wake up, Helen, and stop yourself from throwing away your dreams for some boy.
Ugh, it was no use. My aunt was too stubborn to listen. I stormed up to my room, feeling frustrated. No way was I letting my aunt's strictness ruin things with my dream guy. So I decided to sneak out to meet Tyler. But how? I know exactly the person who can help. Matt's red code. Aunt Lucy won't let me see Tyler. Please help me distract her. Okay, but only if you get me a signed copy of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Easy peasy. After that day, I was able to go on multiple dates with Tyler, all thanks to Maddie's help. She always came up with the most convincing excuses, like I was going to her house for group study, or we were going to a super important event. Then one time when I was supposed to study at home, it was actually Maddie pretending to be me. Later, I sneak back into my room, all giddy. You wouldn't believe how great our date was today. But Maddie just gave this awkward look. What's up? Did my aunt suspect something? No, everything's fine. Then she immediately climbed out of the window. Strange. But the next day she acted like nothing had happened, so I let it slide. She must have just felt unwell or something. Meanwhile, things with Tyler were getting better and better. After a romantic date, we walked home, and suddenly Tyler stopped me, looking all shy and nervous.
Helen, I really like you, and I like spending time with you. Be my girlfriend, will you?
OMG! This was the best thing that had ever happened to me! I flung my arms around him and yelled out of my lungs, "Yes!" When I finally let go of him, out of nowhere, a kid on roller skates bumped into me and sent me tumbling into the road. A car zoomed toward me, and before I could process anything, Tyler sprinted forward and pushed me away. When I opened my eyes, he was lying there unconscious. I panically called an ambulance and went with him to the hospital. As I sat in the waiting room with floods of tears, I was so scared and didn't know what to do that I ended up calling Aunt Lucy. Only a few minutes later, I saw her hurrying toward me, looking dead serious.
Helen, what have I told you? You lied to me to hang out with a boy?
I had no heart to argue about that and immediately burst into a fresh bout of tears. It's my fault! Tyler risked his life to save me, and now he's hurt! Aunt Lucy's demeanor softened and she pulled me in closer. After a while of consoling me, she finally opened up and shared a story I didn't expect.
Actually, I fell in love when I was around your age, but he betrayed me. I just don't want you to be hurt like that.
Oh, that's terrible. But Tyler is a good guy. I just know he is. He saved me.
And for that, I'm truly grateful. Okay, I'll trust your judgment and give you my blessing to get to know him further.
Thank you. Right then, the doctor appeared and told us that Tyler was all right and he would make a full recovery in a few days. Thank goodness. When Tyler was back, Aunt Lucy stuck to her word and gave me and him a chance together. She even offered to give both of us a badminton lesson. Brace yourself for the craziest training routine ever. But practicing with Tyler made it actually bearable and a lot more fun. I had a big competition coming up, which could get me the professional player title and a chance to join the national team if I won. So I needed all the training I could get. Just one more step away from my greatest dream. Also, I couldn't contain my smile when seeing Lucy gradually warmed up to Tyler. My big day finally came. Mom and Dad were here to support me as well. I excitedly got ready, but when I opened the kit bag, what happened? Oh no! Who's destroyed our babies? I think Lucy might have done it. Why on earth would she do that? I overheard her saying that she was only pretending to like Tyler so she could keep an eye on you both. What? I honestly believe that Aunt Lucy was actually giving Tyler a chance. But it still didn't make any sense. Even if Lucy hated Tyler, why would she try to ruin this competition? She knew how much it meant to me. There's one more thing, but I don't think you're ready to hear it. Gosh, just spill the beans, Maddie! Actually, the day I disguised as you, I found something out. Lucy's not your aunt. She's your mom. She wants to take you back to Canada with her, and she knows if you won this contest, then you'd never want to leave. I stood there in complete shock. So, my beloved family I'd known all these years wasn't actually mine? And Lucy, how come she had the brazenness to show up now as my real mother and wanted to take me back? I felt like my whole life had been one big lie and immediately rushed to find Lucy. Is it true? You're my real mom?
How did you know?
I can't believe you did that to me! You're selfish, terrible, and ruined everything! Go away! I don't want to see you anymore! I don't have a mom like you! Grace is my one and only mother! Lucy looked completely broken, then quietly left. I was shaking in anger and pain when a gentle hand laid on my shoulder.
Helen, sweetie, I know it's hard to take it in. Trust me, this was difficult for us all.
You all lied to me!
How could you just agree to send me off to her? You never consider me as your real daughter, do you? Don't think silly, honey. We love you so much and never want to let you go, unless it's better for you. Then Mom told me how Lucy came and persuaded her. Turned out, Lucy had a very tragic past. Since childhood, she'd always been the black sheep in her family. They treated her poorly and despised her badminton passion. Then when she told them she was pregnant, they threw her out, and her boyfriend also ditched her right after that. So she had no choice but to leave me at the orphanage and begin a new life in Canada. After countless hardships, she finally became successful, and all she desired was to reconnect with me. I believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's why I let you two live together for a while. Only if you're happy, I would tell you the truth, so you wouldn't be too shocked. Besides, she can help you more than me now. Hey, you even inherited her badminton spirit. I was stunned for a while. It's true that Lucy left me, but that's because she didn't want me to suffer with her, and I indeed had a happy life. I shouldn't be so rude to her, but it was still a lot to digest, so I went home with Mom. I shut myself away until the next day. Tyler came and tried to convince my gloomy self to go for a walk. I know that's a lot, but I think you should make up with Lucy. Why are you still on her side? She only pretended to be nice to you, and she ruined the contest just to take me away from this perfect life. We can find our chance in plenty of other competitions, but there's only one Lucy. She's your biological mother, and it's fine to be mad with her, but you should never reject her. My mind wandered back to all the happy moments I'd had with Lucy, our interesting chat, the delicious meals she cooked, and the times we played badminton together. She even had a special room to store badminton equipment, especially the rackets. Wait, Lucy treasured badminton rackets. If she simply wanted to stop us from competing in the contest, then she could have just hidden our rackets or pretended that the car broke down. But she would never destroy the rackets like that. Ty, do you remember who else handled our rackets that day? I'm not sure. I think Madeline had them at some point. So, could it be Maddie? But why? She had no reason to do that. She was my best friend and always supported me to play badminton. I stormed over to Maddie's house, but she's arguing with her dad on the doorstep. You useless, pathetic rascal! Go then. I don't care. Maddie ran off in tears, and I followed her to an alley. Seeing her like that made some of my anger toward her fade. Hey, what's going on? Maddie seemed surprised to see me. She tried to dodge some of my questions at first, but seeing nowhere to hide, she finally confessed. My mom left me to that alcoholic dad who does nothing but shout at me all day. You have two moms who love you, and I don't even have one. I was angry at Lucy because, to me, all of the moms who gave up their child are heartless and deserve no forgiveness. She even wanted to take you to Canada. I couldn't lose you too. The fear and jealousy got the better of me, so I broke your rackets, then blamed Lucy. I'm so sorry. This sounds tough, but you still shouldn't have done it. I'm always here to listen to you, and I'm not moving anywhere. You're stuck with me. When Maddie felt better, I took her to my home and intended to find Lucy to apologize for everything. But Mom said Lucy decided to go back to Canada and was on her way to the airport. I immediately hailed a cab to the airport, then ran through departures, desperately trying to find Lucy. I was starting to think I was too late, when suddenly I spotted her about to walk through towards security. Lucy! Mom, please don't go! I thought you don't want me. No, I was just confused and angry, and I'm sorry that I hurt you. We finally sorted things out and agreed to give each other a chance to start over. So, what happened next? Well, Lucy decided to expand her business to the US so she could stay here with me. My wonderful adoptive parents took Maddie in after helping her get away from her toxic father. So now I have two amazing moms, an awesome sister, and, yes, you know it, a super cute, thoughtful boyfriend. Hi, my name's Ariana, and I'm a walking accident zone. Seriously, I once knocked over an entire shelf of books in the library just by breathing. My clumsiness made me really popular at school. Well, if it isn't Ariana the klutz doing what she does best, tripping over oxygen. That's Maeve, my, drum rolls please, cousin. You're probably wondering how my own flesh and blood turned into my high school tormentor, so let's rewind. My grandma practically invented good food in our town. She owned the biggest restaurant around. She had two daughters, Mom and Aunt Mel. Mom gave birth to me, and Mel, Maeve. Mom totally inherited Grandma's skills. She could whip up a 5-star meal with her eyes closed. While Mom seemed naturally gifted in the kitchen, Aunt Mel was a complete disaster. After a series of intense cook-offs, of course, it was Mom who came out on top. Just before Grandma retired, she handed over the restaurant to Mom. Aunt Mel didn't take it well, and she passed that bitterness down to Maeve. From that day on, Mom officially took over the restaurant. With her natural gift for cooking, it didn't take long for customers to leave raving about her food. Within just 2 months, business was booming. Lines out the door, glowing reviews, and even praise from a few tough food critics. You're like a food wizard, Mom. People come in grumpy and leave floating on clouds. That's the goal, sweetheart. Mom loved her job, and she wanted me to take over someday. I did too, until I grew up and realized I was hopeless in the kitchen. I couldn't even boil water without triggering the smoke alarm. Every time I cooked, something went wrong. Every single time. By the time I turned 17, I didn't need a fortune teller to know I could never be like Mom. What on earth happened to you? And, what is this? The usual. Maybe I should give up. I'm not as talented as you, Mom. I just can't cook. Don't ever say that again. Maeve's out here getting thousands of views on her cooking channel. If you don't step up, the town will start calling her the rightful heir. Grandma might just hand her the restaurant keys. Mom wasn't just a great cook. She hated losing, especially when it came to family. So honestly, her reaction wasn't all that surprising. But Maeve was the one who got the talent like my mom. I took after her mom, Aunt Mel, the disaster queen. Like the universe swapped our DNA as a joke. So what now? You gonna disown me and adopt Maeve? Actually, Mom, maybe Maeve could help you out. You're carrying way too much alone. Maybe it would lighten your load. And maybe, just maybe, it could finally fix things with Aunt Mel. I don't want us all fighting. I want us to be family again. Mom stared at me for a moment. I felt my heart thump in anticipation and hope that I had gotten through to her. But then, no, let them stew in envy. Ugh, classic Mom stubbornness. Starting tomorrow, you will undergo intense training as my assistant chef. It's time people hear your name too. I thought Mom was crazy. I could barely cook dinner without burning down the whole place. And now I was going to be her assistant chef? No matter what Mom taught me, I had a special gift for turning the kitchen into a crime scene on a daily basis. Still, Mom never lost her cool. If I overcooked the chicken, she swapped it. If I oversalted the soup, she magically balanced it. Finally, my very first dish, with a lot of help from Mom, was served to an actual customer. Okay, she basically made the whole thing, but served it under my name. My daughter made it. She's a culinary prodigy, just like her mama. So yeah, the town started calling me the next Martha Stewart. Meanwhile, I was low-key freaking out. But Mom's faith in me kept me going. As long as she was by my side, I believed I could do it. But that didn't last long. One day, Mom suddenly got very ill. I took her to a hospital and found out that she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Since she had to stay in the hospital for a while for observation and treatment, she made me promise I'd take over the restaurant no matter what. But the kitchen was still a war zone for me. If anyone found out I couldn't cook, Mom's dream would shatter, and I was totally clueless about what to do. One afternoon, I was taking a stroll to clear my head when I met someone who could turn out to be the answer to my prayers. A new street chef who looked too cool for this town. And his food, I had no idea what kind of magic he was cooking up, but it had people lining up down the block just to get a taste. Spicy ginger rice right here. Who's next? So I decided to try it out. One bite of his food, and it was like my brain threw a party. An idea hit me. If I could get a guy like him to cook for us, I might just save the restaurant and keep my mom's dream alive. I had to wait till evening to catch him, and even then, it wasn't going to be as easy as I thought. Hey, Chef Diego, right? Your seasoning is insane. What, you trying to steal my recipe or something? No, no, definitely not stealing. Just, your food's amazing. So that's it? No other reason why the restaurant's princess has been hanging around here all day? Uh-oh, he knew exactly who I was. No surprise, our restaurant was famous in this town. Okay, you got me. I need your help, please. Without responding, Diego climbed into the driver's seat to drive off. Rude, right? But I wasn't about to back down. So I did something absolutely insane. Hey, are you trying to get run over, Chica? Only if it means you finally listen. Okay, maybe I'd lost it. But what else could I do? My confidence was gone. The family restaurant was hanging by a thread. You've got guts. I like it. Come in. You have 5 minutes. I got in quickly before he changed his mind and told him everything. Mom's illness, the promise, the mess I was drowning in. Please, I need someone who can actually cook. I need you. I'll pay you anything. For a second, I thought he'd laugh in my face. All right, I'll do it. We'll talk money after the deal's done. Really? But listen, I'm not going to be your shadow forever. You're going to learn. Every dish, every mistake. You're gonna mess up, but eventually you're going to cook. Got it? Got it. And just like that, I had a secret chef. Thanks to Grandma's obsession with secret rooms, we had a private kitchen only the head chef could use. When Diego taught me, I thought he would be grumpy and all, but he was actually a sweetheart. Every evening, he patiently coached me. See the flip? Slow and steady. Too fast, oil splashes, you panic. Boom, disaster. Stay calm and in control, and mistakes stay small. Your turn, Chica. Diego could teach me all day, but I had the talent of a rock for cooking. Day after day of practice, and I still wasn't getting any better. Just more burned food straight into the trash. After months of trying, I started to give up. All the practice, all the burnt food, it felt like I was going nowhere. So I made a reckless decision. I asked Diego to cook in my place. At first, he refused, but when I promised to pay him more than his entire monthly income from street food sales, he agreed. When food was ready, I served it in the main kitchen like it was mine, while Diego, the real chef, played the dishwasher. Everyone raved about the new and improved dishes. Critics stopped by unannounced, dropping shiny reviews. It felt like magic. While Diego did the actual cooking, I kept myself busy pretending. Chopping, stirring, plating. Just like that, our little illusion worked like a charm. The restaurant's reputation soared, and so did the profits. But good things don't last forever. 3 weeks after I hired Diego, Grandma invited me over, although I had one more trial week before she made her final decision. I've seen the news, Ariana. Your mom would be proud. You're doing great. That's why I'm thinking you'll make a good CEO. Ah! Finally! Everything I worked for had led to this moment. But then Grandma said something that dimmed my joy. I'd like Maeve to join you in the kitchen, too. She mentioned choosing this restaurant for her internship, and with all the buzz, I'm sure you could use the help. I smiled, but inside I was spiraling. If Maeve stepped foot in that kitchen, she'd find out everything. Grandma, actually, I don't need— You don't need what? Me? Don't be mean, sis. Unless you've got something to hide. And that was when my fate was sealed. I knew Maeve working here, even briefly, would spell trouble, but protesting would only make Grandma suspicious. You okay, Chica? No, Diego, everything's falling apart. I told Diego everything, but he didn't flinch. Listen, nothing is going to fall apart, okay? You're this close to your goal. Keep your head in the game. I got you. My heart filled with warmth and gratitude, but before I could say thanks, Maeve walked in. Well, if it isn't my dear cousin. And you are? He's Diego. He's the dishwasher. I hired him 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, huh? Yes. Is there any problem? Nothing. Just curious how a klutz like you suddenly became a cooking pro. Last year, you set a pot of boiling water on fire. Ugh, people change. Then prove it. I can only cook in the secret kitchen. Really? Let's go in there then. I'm still clumsy, and it's worse around toxic personalities. So no, Maeve. Are you calling me I have work to do? Maeve didn't buy my story for a second. Her internship was just a lie. She came here to spy on me, and honestly, she was good at it. She noticed everything. Grease stains on Diego's shirt, how he magically disappeared when I was cooking in the secret room. The closer I got to taking over, the harder she tried to bust us. And one day, we slipped. Diego and I were cleaning up after hours of cooking. Then we heard a knock on the door. Diego barely got to hide when Maeve suddenly swung the door open. Oh, you're alone? Weird. I thought I heard voices. This is the head chef's room. You don't just barge in. Relax. Tomorrow's the big day. You're becoming the new owner and all. Consider these a peace offering. Edible flowers. You hated that I was taking over. Yeah, I did, but I was wrong. You've got real talent. Maeve's sudden kindness felt off, but I only cared about how I could get her out of my kitchen ASAP. Thanks. Could you carry this pot out front for me? As soon as she left, I dropped the flowers on the counter and locked the door. She's gone. I can't believe she came so close. You think she really came here to give you flowers? Nope. She was probably hoping to catch you in here. But she couldn't. Then we laughed. But I should have been more careful. I really should have. The long-awaited day came. Grandma was about to name me the new owner. Ariana, your mother would be proud. Today, I officially— Grandma, wait! Ariana is a fraud. She hasn't cooked a single meal. It's been him. Some of us are actually working hard to earn our chef title, and she's trying to cheat. How is that fair? My soul immediately left my body. Maeve, what do you mean? She never cooked in the main kitchen, and Diego always vanished when she was in there. I looked him up. He owns a food truck. Why would someone like that scrub dishes? Maybe I actually like working here. I have proof. To my horror, she took out the same bouquet she'd gifted me yesterday, reached between the flowers, and pulled out a tiny recording device. She hit play, and our secret kitchen convo blasted through the speakers. I just wanted to disappear. How could you lie to us, Ariana? Before I could even answer Grandma's question, I just stood there, frozen, speechless. Maeve's taunts kept coming, each one sharper than the last. I could feel myself breaking, but right as I was about to turn and bolt, someone grabbed my hand. It was Diego. Yeah, she lied. But who in this life hasn't made mistakes? Ariana's been doing her best to keep this restaurant running, even though it was never her dream to begin with. She did it because of the heavy expectations from the people who claim to be her family. After hearing Diego's words, I was genuinely moved. I never imagined someone would understand me so deeply, and even have the courage to stand up for me. Grandma didn't say much. She just looked at me for a long time. I'm sorry I lied, but this place means everything to our family, especially Mom. I tried my best, but honestly, I'm gonna need some help. You want me to help? Maeve, I've always admired your cooking skills. I think we can make a great team. What do you say? Truce? In the end, I didn't just get the restaurant, I got a sister. Both Grandma and Aunt Mel softened up. A few days later, while Diego was preparing for the lunch rush at his food truck, I walked up to him. Diego? He was so surprised that a flower vase nearly slipped from his hand. Luckily, he caught it just in time. Someone's the clumsy one today. You sneaked up on me, Chica. What brings you here? I never got to pay you. So, what's your price?
Ariana, the truth is, I didn't do it for money. The moment you stepped in front of my truck, like a lunatic, I fell for you. My heart just did a backflip.
Diego!
You were fire and chaos from the start, and I loved every second of it.
Then stay in the chaos with me. The restaurant could use your help. Honestly, so could I. Diego lifted my chin, and our eyes met.
I thought you'd never ask me more.
I still made a mess, but I've learned to accept it, laugh at it, and keep going. Mom was getting better. She was smiling as we walked in with flowers. She was about to go home soon. So there you go. I'm Ariana, a walking accident zone, but I've got an iron will. And when there's a will, there's always a way.
Here I was, standing in the middle of Christian's apartment with a dumbfounded look on my face. I know I dated a lot of guys, but could it really have been so many that I'd accidentally dated this guy twice? I took another look around the room. Oh my god, that hideous lamp and minuscule kitchen looked really familiar. I was feeling uneasy as I sat on the couch and stared at the guitar. Okay, now I was sure that I'd definitely been here before. Panicking, I made an excuse that my favorite TV show was about to start, so I had to go home. Then I ran out of there. From that moment on, I avoided Christian at all costs. He tried to call and message me a bunch of times, but I ignored them all. How was it possible that I couldn't remember dating him? I mean, okay, I suppose I had been on a bit of a dating streak recently, but it was hardly enough to date myself into oblivion, right? Besides, if this was the case, shouldn't he be able to recognize me too? On the day we met, I was in a terrible mood, so was drowning my sorrows in a bar. I had a bit too much to drink, so when I walked out and accidentally bumped into Christian, I began blaming him. But instead of ignoring a drunk girl, he made sure I got home safely. After that, I don't know if it was by accident, fate, or if Christian was stalking me, but I seemed to run into him all the time. Hey, if the universe wanted us to hang out, then who was I to stop it? So I started talking to him, and turns out we got on really well. Then, of course, came that day when he dropped the bombshell. He said he likes me, and I kind of like him too, so we started dating. Now, did you see how wrong this was? If I'm his ex, then why did he approach me? Also, I mean, what are the odds for the both of us to just have zero recollection of each other? Or was he pretending not to know me? If so, then what were his purposes? Ugh, the best thing to do is to dump him first, right? Problem solved. But then one day, I got home from college to find Christian standing at my door with a bunch of groceries. He came by to cook me dinner. Oh, that's kind of sweet. Well, seeing as he's here, I should hold off on breaking up with him until after dinner, right? But man, it was so hard. All I could think about was how caring and thoughtful he was. Then suddenly, he said something that messed up my whole plan. My roommates are terrible cooks, especially my brother, so the two of them pester me to make all of their meals. Wait a minute, did he just say brother and roommate? So it turns out he wasn't living alone. What a relief! That means there was still hope that I could have dated his brother or his roommate, not him. I just needed to figure out which one it was. I needed to find out more about them, so I praised him for more information. He told me that his brother was dumped by his ex in the worst way possible. He'd arranged a romantic dinner at a restaurant, and while he was talking, she screamed out that she wanted to break up. It was not only devastating for him, but also humiliating. Oh my god. That sounded so familiar, because I often did that too. It's like my signature move. Could it be that the person I dated was his brother, Connor? If yes, then that would be great. It means I could continue dating Christian, right? To be honest, I really hope it's Connor. So all I needed to do was meet the guy and let him confirm it. But easier said than done. The guy was never home. Until one night. Christian and I were at a bar when we heard some loud noises coming from the booth next to us. A guy was yelling at a couple. Seeing that, Christian immediately ran over to them and stopped the guy. Turns out the guy yelling was Connor, and the couple were his ex and her new boyfriend. So she was the one who broke up with him in that terrible way, not me? Now it's either Christian or his roommate. While I was in deep thought, Christian came back with 2 hot dogs in his hands. Hey, Christian! Suddenly, we heard someone calling his name. We turned around to see 2 guys standing behind us. It was none other than Christian's roommate, Wes, and his boyfriend. Yes, you heard me right, his boyfriend. So that means I didn't date him either? After that, I couldn't pay attention to the game anymore. In what way could this all make sense? But wait, maybe I was wrong. I mean, many apartments look the same, don't they? Seeing me zoning out, Christian nudged my arm, then handed me a hot dog. I thanked him and was about to take it when he snatched it back. Oh wait, you hate ketchup, because you always get ketchup stains on your clothes. Here, take this one. What did you just say? How did you know that? Oh, you did tell me once, don't you remember? I just gave an awkward smile. I'm 100% sure I hadn't told him that. So, there's no denying, Christian is my ex-boyfriend. It's settled. I'm breaking up with him. That night, I couldn't sleep, as all I could think about was Christian. He obviously remembered me because he knew about the ketchup thing. But why the act? Oh my, he definitely wants revenge. I'm sure of it. But, why did this suck so much? He was just some guy. I could find another boyfriend easy enough, right? But chances are, they wouldn't be as sweet and caring as Christian was. One time when I was stressing out about my essay, he stayed up late so he could read it through for me and point out any typos. And whenever I was feeling down, he would send me a cake, sometimes a box of donuts with a little note to cheer me up. I was definitely going to miss his cute ways, but I couldn't do this anymore. He had to go. So the next day, when I met Christian for lunch, I decided to take the opportunity to break up with him. But before I could say anything, we ran into a guy who claimed to know me.
Oh my god, is that you, Sadie?
Huh? Who is he?
Oliver. My god, long time no see. You know Sadie? Christian? Hey, what a small world. Yeah, we used to date.
My god. Guys, this is Oliver, who happened to be Christian's former roommate, which, apparently, my ex. He used to live with Christian before Wes moved in. So that means, hooray! Christian wasn't my ex and wasn't longing for revenge. Yay! Although, it's kind of weird that Oliver didn't look at all familiar to me. Maybe I really did need to stop dating so much. This is crazy, but it made me realize something. I really had fallen for Christian. So I decided to set up a romantic dinner in a nice restaurant so I could tell him. Christian, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I love you. I eagerly awaited for him to say it back, but no. Instead, he burst out laughing. Huh? And that's when everything came to light. Guess what? Christian really is my ex.
When we were at the basketball match, I made a big mistake with the ketchup thing. I sensed you were sus, so I asked Oliver to pretend to be your ex. And it worked.
But why? What did I do to you to deserve that?
Oh wow, you really don't remember, huh? Well, just proves what a terrible person you are. You don't care what love is. You just like to mess with people's feelings, then move on to your next victim. Well, let me refresh your memory. We used to be a happy couple, until one day you decided to end things without even an explanation, right when I was having the hardest time. Things didn't go well at work and my mom was sick in the hospital. Did you know how heartbroken it made me feel? Then a month ago, when I saw you dump that guy in public, then walk past me without even recognizing me, I knew everything was a joke to you, so I came up with this plan, and I don't regret anything. Then he stood up and walked off.
What? That couldn't be true, right? Because I had no recollection of what Christian just said. But he seemed adamant it was true, so I went to see my doctor. Actually, ever since the accident, I haven't been back here for any extra checkup. And you know what? After several tests, I was diagnosed with memory loss. Well, that explained a lot. You see, a few months ago, I had a bicycle accident. I fell off a cliff, but luckily it wasn't high. I bumped my head, but I thought I was okay, as I still remembered my family and friends. Turns out, I only lost the memory about the period of time when I was dating Christian. How ironic. But it was a big misunderstanding. You know, I have this bad habit that every time I feel someone is getting distant towards me, I save face by dumping them first. So maybe when Christian was busy taking care of his mom in the hospital, I misread the situation and ended things with him. He was right. I am a horrible person. I can't believe I let an amazing guy like him go. But nope, not this time. I believe the universe gave me a second chance. That's why I met him again. So I ran to Christian's apartment to explain everything to him. But when I knocked on the door, Wes opened it.
You just missed him. He's heading to the airport to visit his parents for a few weeks.
What? I couldn't wait 2 more weeks, so I took a cab to the airport. But on the way, I got stuck in traffic. How am I supposed to find him now? Wait a minute. I've seen this scene play out many times in movies. So, can you guess what I did next? Yep, I stepped out of the taxi and ran like a crazy person up the road. I looked into each taxi hoping to find Christian and, do you believe it? I finally found him. He looked very shocked when he saw me getting into his cab. Before you kick me out, please let me explain. Then I began to tell him about my mom and how my dad and countless other men abandoned her. I was left terrified of being abandoned by someone I love, so my own irrational fear meant that when Christian was busy taking care of his sick mom, I thought it was a sign that he was about to dump me. So I ended things first with him. It's not because you didn't mean anything to me. On the contrary, you made me feel safe. I just like you so much that I didn't want to get hurt by you. Then I explained to him about my accident and why I don't remember him. Christian remained silent and kept his head down. It seemed like he didn't want to give me another chance. I tried, but I couldn't make him forgive me. So, feeling glum, I opened the car door to get out. But Christian took my hand and said, "Sadie, I have missed you." "Okay, fine. Let's give it another try." So that was it. Christian gave me a second. Oh, wait. Actually, it's the third chance. And can you guess what we did next? Well, I'm now sitting at the airport with Christian, waiting for our flight to his hometown to meet his parents. I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. Wish me luck.
So, who knows the answer to this? The teacher asked. The whole class was silent as they looked down at their desks and scratched their heads. Suddenly, a hand was raised. Yes, it was me. Just me. In fact, physics was my forte subject, so the question on the board didn't baffle me, so I gave an in-depth answer. The teacher looked surprised, then she smiled at me and said, "It looks like we have a budding Einstein in our midst." All this praise was a little embarrassing. Also, I noticed that all the girls in the class were looking at me with admiring eyes. Meanwhile, I overheard one boy whisper, "Where did this robot come from?" I unconsciously glanced over at Vivian. She was sitting in the corner of the classroom, and even she was gawping over at me. Meeting my gaze, she immediately pouted and looked away. For the rest of the day, I continued to impress my teachers and classmates. In English Lit, I recited a verse from 12th Night, and in math, I wrote down the formula for pi on the board. Hey, being smart has its highlights, and it was good to get recognition for my brains. I'd already been recruited into both the physics club and the quiz team. Hey, turned out this new school was not that bad. I'm Easton, and if you haven't seen part 1 of my story, I advise you to go and check it out. So, I'm only at this elite school because my sister Grace is marrying an older rich man named Owen. Then, there's Vivian, Owen's daughter. I haven't quite worked her out yet, but she seems like trouble. As the first days went, mine was a success, so I was grinning as I walked toward the bus stop. Suddenly, a girl caught up with me and patted me on the shoulder. "Hey, I'm Lila. We're in the same class." "Hi, Lila. I'm Easton." I smiled at her. "You're so good at, well, everything," she giggled. "So, I like physics too. I think we should study together sometime." She chewed on her lip as she twizzled a strand of her hair around her finger. "Yes, sure." Suddenly, a nudge distracted me. "Vivian." She swaggered past us, then looked back at me and pouted. Seeing this, Lila rolled her eyes and tutted out, "That girl is such a nuisance. I'd recommend you steer clear of the likes of her." I nodded at Lila's words, but kept my eyes on Vivian. At that moment, bump. Vivian, with her head so high, striking her arrogant walk, had crashed straight into some nerd who was walking while looking at his phone. I winced as I watched her fall on top of him, and his phone flung away and smashed as it hit the ground. She blushed and scrambled to get up, frantically took out the money from her wallet and stuffed it into the boy's hand and hurried away. "Huh? What an obnoxious girl," Lila snarked. "Thinking daddy's money solves everything? How ignorant." Sigh. I can only give her a shrug hearing those words, then quickly made my excuses about having to catch my bus. That night, I was watching Mythbusters on TV in the living room when I suddenly saw Grace running out of the bathroom screaming. Her skin had these red patches all over it, and she was crying out how there were dog hairs on her towel. At that moment, Vivian passed us. She looked Grace up and down, then smirked and said, "Oh my, our model looks like a lobster today." Grace was so angry that she somehow managed to turn even redder. "Vivian, you dare? Just you wait." After that, Grace burst into the office and dragged Owen into the living room. Oh man, it was really serious this time. "Owen, look at me. I'm hideous and it's down to that spiteful child." She pointed at a still smirking Vivian. "These tricks of hers are unacceptable." She shook her arm vigorously, then stomped her feet on the floor. Owen frowned at Vivian, but she didn't show any guilt. Instead, she just shrugged and said, "I have no idea what she's talking about." The atmosphere in the house was so tense that I literally couldn't breathe. Seeing this, Grace continued, "Honey, it's time we sent her to boarding school. The teachers there will be better equipped to manage her and help her change." Owen listened attentively, then nodded. Vivian's smirk dropped, and she glared at Grace, then turned to Owen and said harshly, "Dad, why do you always listen to her? She's just an outsider. I'm your daughter." "Okay, let's take it slow. I'll see what's the best for you." Then he turned to Grace and said softly, "Come on, darling, let's go get you some medicine." Then he led Grace to their bedroom. I thought that the threat of boarding school would change Vivian, but no. It only seemed to entice her more. One day during dinner, Owen's phone rang. He went out of the room to answer it, and when he returned, his face was all scrunched up in anger. Then he slammed his fist on the table. "Vivian, you're causing trouble again? How dare you break in and steal stuff from the chemistry lab?" I really have no words." She didn't respond, still focused on her plate, which drove Owen even madder. He shouted, "Your teacher said if you make any more minor mistakes, they'll expel you. Is that what you want?" "Oh my God, expelled from school? That would bring shame to our family," Grace added. Vivian glared at Grace, but she still continued. "I did tell you to send her to boarding school, but you refused." Then suddenly, her eyes lit up as if she had just come up with some crazy idea. Then she turned to look at me with a smile that sent chills down my spine. "Ah, I know. Easton's a top student, and he's in most of Vivian's classes, isn't he? So he can supervise her. Maybe there will be good results." "What? No way!" Vivian and I shouted in unison. While I was silently cursing Grace's crazy idea, Owen seemed quite amused by it. "Yeah, that sounds good." "No way! Who the hell is he to monitor me?" "Well, if you don't like it, then I suggest you go up to your room and start packing for boarding school." Vivian didn't say anything else, just sulked and stormed back to her room. Owen shook his head wearily, then told me to go have a little talk with him in his office. "Easton, please help me keep an eye on Vivian. Honestly, I don't want to send her away to a boarding school, but I can't sit around and wait for her to be expelled either. This put me in a dilemma here. I didn't want any involvement with this stubborn girl, but I couldn't say no to Owen. Seeing me hesitate, he continued, "Please, she's a good kid. She's just had a tough time and she's so angry at everything. She's so angry at me." And yeah, you guess it, I gave in and agreed to help him. Then he immediately listed off a series of tasks. Don't let Vivian get anything lower than a C. Don't let her hang out with any bad friends, including Carter, her current unpleasant boyfriend. Follow her closely and don't let her break any school rules. Make sure she takes studying seriously for once. These sounded simple, right? For normal people, maybe, but Vivian was far from normal. Instead, she was troublesome, cunning, and uncooperative. I had no idea how I was going to convince a rebel like Vivian to abide by any of these rules. But I told Owen I'd help. So now I had to stick to my word. So from then on, I officially became Vivian's tutor and butler. I had to tutor her every day, keep an eye on her 24/7, and of course, put up with her mischievous pranks to escape my management. "Please, focus. Why do you keep on staring out the window and daydreaming when the exams are right around the corner?" I got really mad at Vivian. "I don't want to, but I have a headache, so I just can't concentrate." She wasn't fooling me with that fake pity face. I immediately pulled a tablet of aspirin out of my shirt pocket and tossed my head to signal her to take it, so that she could keep studying. Vivian was dumbfounded, picked up her pen, and started doing the homework. But within just less than 5 minutes, she turned to me and asked, "Hey, Easton, do you like playing games?" I flipped the pages of the book and reluctantly said yes. Clearly, she was just waiting for that, as she immediately took out her Nintendo Switch, excitedly gave it to me and said, "So you can play this, and I'll sleep for a bit. I stayed up so late last night watching movies. When the time's up, just tell my dad that we finished studying." Before I can say anything, she'd already jumped onto her bed and wrapped herself in blanket. Ugh, so frustrating. But then an idea popped in my head. Well, then let's change the learning method. Language shower. How does that sound? Then I reached for the mini speaker on the table, played a Spanish audio lesson at the highest volume, and placed it right by her ears. She quickly covered her head with a pillow, but I didn't give up and continued pushing the speaker close. After rolling around in bed for a while, she finally admitted defeat, and with a frowning face, went back over to the desk and said, "Okay, just stop this crazy torture right away, please. You want me to sit here and study, right?" I folded my arms and smiled smugly. Ha! This girl is not that hard to handle. I didn't share Vivian's carefree attitude. Instead, I was so anxious that she would fail her exams and I'd get the blame. I even had to beg her, "Hey, please, focus on studying literature, please. If you get an F, then I will be dead meat." "Huh? That's none of my business," Vivian sneered. I desperately passed her my essay. Here, I've already prepared this for your reference. You just have to memorize it. She quickly scanned it once, then dropped it down on the table and replied, Nah, you can learn it by yourself. I have better things to do. Helplessly, I picked up the essay and read it out loud. I read it again and again, with the hope that while she was polishing her nails, she could remember a few sentences. At first, Vivian seemed annoyed, but then she giggled and said, Okay, let me learn on my own. Your poor face looks so funny. What a miracle! She actually started reading through the notes, but to be honest, I didn't expect much. But you know what? The most unexpected thing happened. When we were standing outside of the school gates, she showed me her exam results. B's and C's, and not one D. Man, this felt even better than when I got an A+. Well, almost. I was about to congratulate her when I heard someone shout her name. Then I turned around to see some kids walking over to her. Oh no. Were these the bad influences Owen told me to keep her away from?
Pick a cup, young man. That one. Nope, not here. But here. Everyone clapped and cheered for me. Just as I was bagging my money, my mom stormed in like a raging bull. We're going home. Now. Hi, I'm ready. That thunderstorm you just witnessed is my mom. We lived in a village, so life was hard and boring until the day I turned 7. As a birthday gift, Mom let me take anything I wanted from her room since she couldn't buy me a gift, and I saw an unfinished book containing hundreds of tricks. The book didn't have the author's name, but it was a turning point in my life. I began to practice those tricks and soon gained mastery over most, but Mom wasn't having it. How many times do I have to tell you, no magic? But it's fun, Mom. Look, I even got us some money. Magic tricks ruined my life. I don't want it around my house. How, Mom? How did it ruin your life? Mom would never tell me why she hated it so much. And so, call me stubborn, but I just kept doing it. Drink your OJ before you go. But I want chocolate milk. No, we don't have... You're ready, not again. Mom, can you pass me a tissue? You're so lazy. It's right here. What's this? Irready, is this your silly magic props again? Though my talent made life really fun to live, sometimes I would see kids at school with their parents, and I would get sad wondering about my dad. Mom, you know, I was thinking about Dad. Your dad is an evil man who scammed me and took away everything I had. If not for him, I would be living in the city as a rich woman. Why would he do that? What's his name? I always got the same answer. Can't say. Never ask about him again. Ugh. To be honest, sometimes I feared for my mom's sanity. People in our town always whispered behind us that Mom was a little crazy. I tried not to let the rumors get to me. When I turned 16, Mom decided that we would move to the city. She never liked that place, but she said it'd be better for my future. And so I transferred to this new school. It felt awkward, but I shook off the newcomer vibe with a sleight of hand trick I'd been practicing. I sat down on a table and started some small talk with my new friends. So you like ranch on your burger. I prefer keeping it classic. Can you pass me the ketchup? As this boy handed me the bottle, I flipped the burger bun into the air and it disappeared. Oh shoot! What just happened? Chill! I'm just adding some sauce. Now, are you guys looking for this? I opened the lunchbox of the girl next to me and casually retrieved my bun, to the astonishment of everyone. Annie, don't steal my lunch like that! My dazzling act clearly scored. It went viral online. Burger magic, the talk of the town. The next day, I woke up to hundreds of messages on social media from people that wanted to see more. What the heck? I even got one from Mr. Phil, a popular magician and showmaster. He was inviting me for a meeting at his office for a potential collab. I was so excited, but obviously, I couldn't tell my mom. I decided I was going to meet Mr. Phil in secret. Maybe I'd become a magic sensation, and Mom would thank me later. He had invited me to watch and talk with him after his show. As I arrived, I was practically shaking in my boots with nerves and excitement when I saw him performing some mind-blowing trick. And now, ladies and gentlemen, watch as I turn this water to ice cold. Let's count to 3.
1, 2, 3!
He was amazing. As soon as he finished, I went to meet him backstage.
If it isn't the young star Iredi.
Hello, Mr. Phil. I'm your biggest fan. Your shows are always breathtaking.
Thanks, Iredi. Together, we will make magic.
And that's how I started training with Mr. Phil. After school, I would make an excuse to go for a sleepover or a reading group. I thought Mom would never find out, but oh boy, was I wrong. One day, Phil was talking to me about his plans for a show in Las Vegas, when Mom appeared out of nowhere and grabbed Mr. Phil.
You! What are you doing with my daughter?
Mom, let him go, please!
No, never! How dare you come back? You want to take my daughter too, huh? Get away from her!
At that moment, the talk about Mom being a little nuts made sense. How could she be attacking a stranger out of the blue? Mom, relax. I don't know who he is, but chill.
What's this? Do we know each other?
Mom was creating a scene, and I was embarrassed. I'm sorry, Mr. Phil. Just then, we heard the police siren. Someone had called the cops.
Hey, is this woman bothering you? Yes, she—
No, please, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's not in her right mind.
Not you too, Iretti. This woman seems to be troubled and shouldn't have a child under her care. You need to come with us, ma'am.
No, I'm not crazy. Seeing Mom taken away like that broke me, but I figured she needed help. But what would be my fate now? As if reading my mind, Mr. Phil turned to me.
Don't worry, you will stay with me for now.
As much as I missed my mom and hoped she would get the help she needed, moving in with Mr. Phil's family was like a dream come true. His wife, Maria, was super nice and welcoming, but his daughter, Polly, was just cold, especially aimed at Phil. But who had time for family drama? I'm here to train. Working as his apprentice was amazing at the start. We pulled off amazing tricks together. One day, when he called me to his home office, he gave me an unbelievable offer. He wanted me to be his magic partner.
But you have to pass one final test.
I would give anything to officially become Phil's partner. We had this natural connection and vibe. What test?
I have something important that I have to retrieve. I just discovered that my missing family heirloom, a diamond that was taken from my ancestors decades ago, is being auctioned in a few days in Las Vegas.
A family heirloom? Diamond?
Yes, my great-grandfather was a miner. One day he found a diamond. We decided that we would never sell it, but pass it from generation to generation. The government got wind of it and offered us money to sell it to them. We refused, and then it was taken by force.
So cruel.
It's my mission to get that diamond back.
But we could get arrested. No one would believe you without evidence.
Do you believe me?
Yes.
That's all that matters. If you could perfect your sleight of hand, it would be just a piece of cake.
And that was how I found myself planning with Mr. Phil. He had a paper model of the auction venue, and to avoid suspicion, we arranged for a show in Las Vegas right before the auction.
So here's the safe where the diamond is kept. We go in at dusk right after the show. I will distract the guards. You're much smaller, so you can crawl into this vent here.
For me, it wasn't just about joining forces with Mr. Phil. It was about justice, making him proud, and proving that I'm more than just a magician's apprentice. I'm a magician's superhero sidekick. However, reality soon slapped me awake. I went to his home office so we could do a rerun of our plans, and was drawn to a book on his table. It was a book with a large compilation of magic tricks, and when I looked closely, I realized it was the finished version of the book Mom had thrown out, the book that inspired me to become a magician. It was written by Phil. I felt my body tremble in shock. How did Mom have an unfinished manuscript of Phil's book if she didn't know him from before? If he didn't know her? Curious for other things I could find, I began to search his office, and that was when I found a confusing document with my mom's name and Phil's as signers, with a picture of the two of them attached. What is going on here? I was so immersed in my find, I didn't see someone walk in. What are you doing here? Oh, hey there, Polly. Just, practicing my ninja skills. Totally not snooping on your dad. He's not my dad. He's my mother's husband. Oh, any idea who this lovely lady in the photo is? No. Why? She's my mom. But Phil claims he doesn't know anything about her. Just then, we heard the sound of Phil's car pulling into the driveway. Run! Now! Polly and I snuck away from the office and out of the house. My ears rang with what she told me. Since her mom got married to Phil, she'd always been complaining about her money missing and blaming it on Polly. But Polly never stole from her, making her suspect Phil. Something about Phil never felt right. He obviously lied about knowing your mom. What are you going to do now? I don't know, but at least I'm sure of one thing. My mom is not the liar here. I need to talk to her. With Polly's help, we quickly found out where Mom was. Turns out she's been kept in a mental hospital. Apparently, Mr. Phil pressed charges against her and insisted that she needed special care for her abnormal behaviors. Oh, my poor mommy. We spotted Mom sitting by herself on a bench. Seeing her, I immediately burst into tears. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for letting this happen to you. I saw these photos. It's you and Mr. Phil. How do you know him? Nothing could prepare me for the bombshell Mom dropped right then.
He's your father.
What?
He's the wizard of my woes. Got caught in his charm, and he used me, scammed my money from me, switched my cards. Then one day he made me sign a paper for charity, did a quick swap of the papers before I could blink, and I ended up signing away my savings and my house, the one he lives in.
Sleight of hand.
Well, he took everything. Spread lies about me being crazy so no one would help me. I was just a few weeks pregnant with you. That's why I hated magic, Iretti. Every magic trick was a painful reminder of that beast. His shows are just a cover for a grand theft.
You should have told me. If you did, I would never.
I was afraid that if I did, you would run to him, considering you have the same passion. But alas, all my efforts were in vain. You still found him. I guess fate cannot be escaped.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I should have listened. I became selfish and let those dumb rumors get into my head. I didn't know. No, honey, it's because I never told you. It's my greatest regret. I wasn't his first victim, though.
That man is crazy. Remember when I told you I don't feel at ease with him? I think this is it. My mom is blinded by love, but I can smell that he's up to no good. He might scam her too. Gosh, I'm so worried now.
I thought of the heist he told me and felt a chill remembering Mom's recent words. His shows are just a cover for a grand theft. And when I told them what Phil and I were planning to do, they both went berserk. The guy, my own dad, had played me. We have to go to the police.
No, there's not enough evidence. He has friends there. We need to gather more evidence against him and then talk to your mom. She needs to know who she's married to.
Yeah, but first, we're busting you out of here.
It won't work. The security is tight.
Just trust me, Mom. That same evening, Polly and I went back to the hospital. Go! I've overwritten the security systems. There should be no alarm when you get in. The rest is up to you. I smoothly got past all the gates and door, and after creeping up to the main guard, I stole his keys and freed my mom.
How did you do that so fast?
Well, let's just say magic.
I guess magic is not so bad, huh?
Together, we began to work to get evidence against Phil. Polly planted his office with bugs. As part of the plan, I lured him into speaking about the heist so I could have audio evidence.
Tomorrow decides your fate as part of my crew. You ready?
I'm just a bit nervous. Is the heist really necessary? Taking the diamond, what if I get caught?
You won't.
Looking at him then, I felt a twinge of guilt for what we were about to do and tried to give him a small shot at redemption. He was my dad, after all. Will my performance at the show alone not count? Do you do this for everyone you get on your team?
Yes, Iredi, what's with all the questions? If you're having cold feet, just back out. There are many who are longing for the opportunity to be where you are right now. With me, the greatest magician of all time. So, are you in or out?
Okay. He left me with no choice. The day for the show arrived, and we were ready. I could tell Phil was impressed with my performance by how he was smiling like a bloated fish. I had a surprise for him. When he came up to do the levitation trick, I signaled to Mom and Polly, and they clogged the wheels, making him hang in the air.
What? What's this?
And now, people, watch what I will call the sweetest magic of all, catching criminals red-handed. While the crowd was still in awe with the way I just made a giant screen appear, I snapped my finger and exposed our last conversation to everyone, along with images of the auction venue.
What? How did you?
Phil angrily got off the rope and rushed at me, but I just calmly showed him my next move. The audience went wild.
Mirror trick! A student is never better than the master!
He rushed at the real me, but before he could touch me, Mom appeared. You could say we were giving one heck of a show.
Get your hands off my daughter! You! Aren't you supposed to be in a psychiatric ward?
No, but I know where you are supposed to be. As if on cue, the police charged at him. Phil was arrested on the spot for his crimes, and Mom recovered a good share of her properties. As expected, Maria grieved for Phil. We tried our best to comfort her. I'm sorry we did all this without telling you, Mom.
The less people that knew about it, the better. We couldn't afford him knowing we were planning something.
I understand. I never knew this was who he is. I guess we should pack up and leave now.
No need. The house is big enough for all of us.
You want us to live here? With you? Yeah. I mean, Polly and I are practically sisters now. We might as well be family. And so, we moved into the house with Polly and Maria. Mom let me go to a magic school where I greatly enhanced my skills, ready to show the world. I became a media sensation, both for busting my dad's criminal acts and for my magic. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the greatest showgirl, Iredi. What's up, guys? I'm Avery from Queens, and over there is my mom. Not to brag, but she is a real-life superhero. Have you ever seen any single mom who had to work 3 jobs and only sleep for 4 hours a day, but still is always cheerful like that?
Avery, darling, come see. I got the dress you wanted.
Really? But it costs a whole week of your salary.
Don't worry about that, dear. If it makes you happy, then it's totally worth it.
Thank you so much. Let's do a play.
Yes, you'll be a perfect Cinderella.
My mother and I always had the most fun together. Doing role plays and scrapbooking were our favorite things. Although she usually fell asleep on the couch before we finished any activities, she was still the best mom I could ever ask for. There was nothing that could separate us, ever. Until that day. I got home from school and my mom wasn't there yet, so I took a nap while waiting for her. But when I woke up, the whole house was in chaos. And there was so much smoke fumes that I barely saw a man approaching.
I found the child. Evacuate now.
What? What is happening? Where is my mother? I managed to grab my scrapbook before we went outside, and I saw Mom looking so distraught.
Avery! Oh my god, I am so sorry, baby.
What is going on? Why are you in handcuffs? Mom? Mom! I kicked and screamed, but the policeman didn't let me go. I helplessly watched as my mother was led into a van while our home burned to ashes. Then they sent a social worker to come and get me.
Why is my mother getting arrested?
For child endangerment and neglect.
Look at your house. She caused the fire.
No! She probably just fell asleep while cooking. She must be too tired from all the work. She is not a bad mom, please.
I am sorry, darling, but that is not for me to say. The judge will decide, and in the meantime, we'll put you in foster care. Don't worry, I have the perfect home for you. You will love it there.
Ugh, this is so unfair. My mother was sleeping in a cell just because she wanted to make food for me? I'd rather be with her right now than wherever this car is taking me.
We're here! I got out of the car to see a huge mansion. It's like I just stepped into a palace, and the bigger surprise was the foster parents waiting for me. The Smiths. They were one of the biggest couples in Hollywood, who always appeared on TV for their good deeds and the happy foster home they built for children. Time magazine called them the kindest hearts in the country. But if they thought putting me in a nice house would make me stop fighting for my mom, they were dead wrong. Nice to meet you, Avery. We're so sorry about what happened and promise that you will be well taken care of in our home. Hello, Avery. Aren't you a lovely girl? You can call me Mom. I will not. I have a mom. Right. Look, I understand that this is difficult, but
Why does it have to be difficult? My mother only made a mistake. Why can't I be with her? She's better than all of you.
whoa, calm down. Don't say that before meeting our kids. They're wonderful. I turned to see 3 children there. They all looked quiet and shy, except this girl.
Hello, my name is Desi. Welcome to our home. That's Martin, and the little cutie over there is Ryan. And of course, Miss Helen, our nanny. We are very happy to have you here with us.
We will let you guys get to know each other. We have some business to handle right now. See you later. When the Smiths left with the social worker, the air in the room changed. I could tell the kids felt happier and more relaxed. Desi kept talking nonstop. Martin cracked his first smiles, while little Ryan ran into Nanny Helen's arm, and she held him so gently that it made me miss my mom so bad. They looked like a real family, and I was just an outsider. Finally, Helen took me to my room, and I could only hold my tears until she wished me goodnight and closed the door. I cried so hard that night, feeling so lonely and miserable that I couldn't sleep. No, I can't stay here. I need my mom. So, the next morning, I got an idea. I looked at my beautifully decorated room and started to rip it apart. Surely, if the Smiths saw how disobedient I was, they would send me away, back to my mom, right? When I was done, I opened the door to find the kids and Nanny Helen standing there in shock. What are you looking at?
Go on, tell your parents that I'm a monster.
You all right? You didn't accidentally hurt yourself, did you?
It's okay, Avery. Let us help you clean this up. You can wait here. It won't take long. No! Why are they acting like that? They're supposed to be mad.
Instead, they quickly cleaned everything and got new furniture from the garage to replace the ones I broke. And in minutes, the room was as good as new. If you don't like this room, you can move to another one.
Jeez, this plan didn't go as I expected at all.
No worries. I still had a lot up my sleeves. So I kept throwing tantrums here and there, spicing up their food, messing with their drinks, hiding their stuff, but nothing worked. They always forgave me, helped me, protected me. No matter what I did, they still said, "It's okay. We got your back. We're here for you." What's wrong with them? If my shenanigans wouldn't work, I would never escape this house. I guess I had to act up right in front of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so they would kick me out immediately. But easier said than done. They were rarely home. So right the next time they returned with a beautiful vase, I seized my opportunity. When nobody was around, I gave the vase a little push, and it stumbled off. A crashing sound jarred. Then the Smiths rushed to the scene.
Oh gosh, what happened?
Before I opened my mouth, Martin jumped in and said, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. I just wanted to admire it, but accidentally dropped it."
No, why do you say that? I did it.
Right then, Desi and Ryan also joined in and took the blame for the shattered vase, making the situation even messier.
Enough! Do you know how much this vase cost? You ungrateful peasants. I fed you, clothed you, and you smashed my precious vase, which is more valuable than all of your lives. We should have left you to rot in your stupid orphanages.
Please, they're just children.
Shut up! I hired you to keep an eye on those rats, so this is on you too.
Then the Smiths pulled Nanny Helen into their private room, but I could still hear them arguing, and Helen's pleading. I was totally shocked to see how rude and cruel the Smiths were. Finally, they decided the damage would be deducted monthly from Helen's wages, which also came from the fostering allowances, and God knows for how long. When I turned around, the kids had already cleaned the broken pieces on the floor with the saddest faces ever. I thought they would be angry at me, but they just gave me disappointed looks, then returned to their room. That night, I tossed and turned. I didn't mean for things to go this far, and make Nanny Helen pay for my guilt. But how could I fix it? Those kids were very close to Helen. Maybe they would have some idea. So, for the first time, I went to Desi's room and found all the kids were there. Hi, guys.
Go away. You hurt Nanny. You hurt us.
I am so sorry. I didn't know the Smiths were so harsh. I just want them to send me back to my mom.
We know, Avery, but if you get kicked out of this house, they won't bring you back to your mother, but to another foster home, and they're all so much worse. Trust me, Martin and I were in the system for 4 years before we got here.
True, the Smiths are not very nice parents, but we have Helen who has a golden heart, and you can't find that anywhere else. We don't want you to endure injustice, neglect, and discrimination like we did in past years. Gosh,
Gosh, I couldn't imagine how much they went through. Yet all I did was bring them trouble. Talking about Helen, she shouldn't be punished for my act. How can I help her out? That's hard. She didn't get much from this job, you know, and this fine added more burden on her. Yeah, the Smiths are very strict about anything related to finance. I don't even think they give Helen a fair amount to take care of us, because she always struggles and sometimes has to pay out of her pocket to give us food. I can't believe it! The Smiths are rich! If they don't care about us, why do they become foster parents? It's a gig that makes them look good in the media and gives them more money. Who would say no to that? Then we spent the whole night talking, and I gradually realized these kids were no different than me. They also desired love and care from their parents, from family. So I told them about my mother, and showed them my scrapbook. All of these memories seemed to relive in front of me while I was talking, and by the time I was finished, we all had tears in our eyes. I am sure there's a way to help you get back with your mom. We will figure it out together. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Smith suddenly wanted to take us out for a meal. Nanny Helen prepared the best clothes for us and waved us goodbye while we stepped into the Smiths' luxury car to go to the biggest restaurant in town. This is for our parents' promo campaign. We do this once a month. Remember the $5 rule, children. We won't pay any more than that. So think carefully before you order and behave. Wow, how generous they are. I can totally see where the title, The Kindest Hearts in the Country, came from. We arrived at the restaurant and sat down at a large reserved table with cameras everywhere.
Come, my little angels. Ryan, come sit with Daddy.
That's it. This phony act was unbearable. If I want to help these kids and Nanny Helen, this was my chance. So when the staff came to take orders, I loudly said, I want a hamburger, this chicken nuggets, and that sundae. Darling, you can't eat that much. Remember our rule? Well, you said you won't pay more than $5 for us, but all those dishes are only $4. Look how awkward the Smiths were in front of the confused staff. My trick was definitely working. Oh, okay. Anything you want. What are you doing? You'll be punished. As if I care. My play had just begun. Next, when all our food was served, I took the ketchup bottle and squeezed it with all my might. The paste spurted out and landed straight on Mr. Smith's face.
Ouch! What the heck?
Everyone rushed to help him clean it, including some staff. Exactly my time to shine. I'm sorry, Dad. I just wanted to draw a flower on my dish to dedicate to you. You took me in at my worst time, and I can't thank you enough.
Of course. That's what I should do.
Aw, she's so sweet. Yeah, you can't be mad at her. So let me give you a proper thanks. Thank you for giving us a house to live in, though you're never home to check on us. Thank you for cutting down our nanny's payment to get more money to take us out for this meal. And thank you that you didn't punish me for breaking your vase yesterday, because you made our poor nanny pay for it instead.
Stop this nonsense! You just want to mess with me, don't you? You're all just a tool for me to make money and improve my reputation. Why can't you act nicely?
Easy, dear. The camera's still on.
Doesn't matter, we can edit this footage out. Now I have to give this foolish girl a lesson.
Really? Can you edit those, too? Little did he know. The fuss I made attracted so much attention that people started live streaming everything. Right that evening, many articles about how horrible the Smiths were came up. Because of their huge influence, the topic of bad foster home quickly became so heated that the government had to step in and review the entire system. The living condition in every foster home was improved, so many other foster children also benefited. The Smiths were so ashamed that they packed up and moved to Aruba and left the kids in the house with Helen with enough money so they didn't get called out again. I didn't expect things could go so well. Helen officially became the kids' foster mother, and I was so happy for them. Thank you, Avery, for helping us out. We want to do something for you, too. The blast on the internet gives me an idea. What if we share your story online to get attention for your mom's case? If enough people care and sympathize with her, the court will have to look into it, too, and understand she's not a bad mom. Wow, that's a brilliant idea. With Desi's help, my video with a scrapbook quickly went viral. And on the day of the trial, the courtroom was full of people who supported us. The verdict was finally announced. And my mom walked free! Woohoo! This is the best day of my life. We got our lives back together pretty quick because we received so much help. My mother and I got a huge deal to start a mother-daughter podcast, and I got to see Desi and Martin all the time, and at school too. And look, isn't that our lovely Ryan?
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea, but people here call me Feifei. Please like and subscribe. My life was extra special because I had 2 home countries. Even though I was born in China, during our trip to America when I was 7, I got lost from my family. At first, I was really scared and lonely, but the more time I spent in the orphanage, the stronger and more independent I became. It seemed like this place was filled with my greatest childhood memories. Life went on just fine until I was 15. A miracle happened. Feifei, Daddy finally found you! I didn't fully understand how, but tears started streaming down my face. Dad didn't change one bit, but my mom had passed away. So I was introduced to my stepmom, May. Our families finally reunited. Let's get back to China. I sadly waved my friends goodbye and returned to my home country. We, the Li family, came from a long line of pottery makers, and this is the 5th generation. Dad said that before his grandparents took their last breath, their dying wish was to preserve the family craft. And as the only granddaughter of the family, I carried the noble responsibility of inheriting this pottery shop.
I believe in you. Make us proud.
While I was still processing everything, my parents already dragged me to my relative's house for a meet and greet. There must have been 20 people here, and I had to memorize all their names? Grandpa Zhu, Grandma Lian, Uncle Tang, and Aunt Hua. Luckily, I still remembered some simple phrases from my childhood and greeted them with my broken Chinese. Then, I heard them talking about a robbery at my house a couple days ago. Dad got a big order to polish 12 vases for the Ming Dynasty, but they were nowhere to be found all of a sudden. The customer wanted to press charges, causing a big trouble for our family. The police were involved, but since all cameras were smashed, it was impossible to find the culprit. The detective in me was woken up, so I ran to where my aunts were to eavesdrop. But before I could ask anything, Dad came and dragged me away.
It's none of your business, kiddo. Even the police couldn't solve it yet. Focus on learning the trade.
A few days later, I started school, and boy, I thought I was smart, but Chinese characters defeated me. For crying out loud, those dancing letters and accents gave me a nightmare, and I was even reprimanded for using English in class. That's not all. Classes were followed immediately by ceramic lessons. Watching ceramic tutorials was fun, but practicing was a hard slap of reality. The more I practiced throwing clay, the more stupid shapes I created. Ugh, and there's clay all over my face and shirt. Clumsy me. Frustrated, I angrily yeeted a piece of clay across the room, then saw Dad glaring at me with his face darkened. Fei just came here. She can't possibly learn that quickly. Give her some time. But Dad coldly dragged me to the ceramic gallery.
You know, pottery is about pouring souls into lifeless clay. Your great-grandfather used to make ceramics for the palace during the Qing dynasty. In wartime, the whole workshop was bombed, but your great-grandparents saved the most precious vases while fleeing the enemy till they died.
Dad's words made me realize how hasty and incompetent I was. I had to change. Then Dad introduced me to a guy.
This is Cody, my best apprentice, aka Pottery Prodigy. He'll be your teacher.
Cody's American, so communication was much easier. He's a great teacher who would always patiently fix my work to perfection, despite how many times I messed up. Cody's also friendly and easy to talk to. Some days our deep talks lasted until dawn. One time, while I was preparing the kiln, I accidentally found this half-burnt piece of paper in the corner. It looked not so normal because there was some handwriting that seemed important on it. I showed Cody and he said it could be a Chinese poem, but I couldn't figure out its meaning since most of it was lost. Dad said it was nonsense while my stepmom shook her head in confusion, but it somehow still bothered me, so I kept studying it for a few nights and I might have found a clue that could lead to the mysterious missing 12 vases. But that wasn't enough, so I decided to put it aside for now. Back to my daily routine. I was showered in my neighbors' and relatives' care. A bit too much. They always urged me to get married. When I was your age, I had 2 children already. But I'm not even 18 yet. Worse, they even sent some suitors to my house.
I've got a gift for you for our first meeting. This chicken lays a lot of eggs. If you marry me, your life will be full of roses. I only have one small request. My family wants many children, so we'll need to have 5 sons, 3 daughters, and a pair of twins.
They got me dizzy, so I sneaked out the back door to avoid running into another lunatic. The countryside sunset looked so peaceful. Ah!
Wow, didn't expect such strong pipes from a tiny body.
Creepy much? I turned to leave, but suddenly that guy grabbed my ponytail and pulled out my hair tie. I was gonna teach this jerk a lesson, but he somehow dodged every blow. Stand still so I could hit you.
Give me a kiss, then I'll give it back.
You wish? What a psycho! But somehow, now I and this psycho became friends, and we even got closer and closer after seeing each other every day at school. I realized Kai wasn't as annoying as I thought, and even grew sympathy for him when I learned that he also lost his mother when he was little. As his father was busy running his business, Kai was always unhappy and lonely. Now that he had my company, he cheered me up whenever I was sad, and frustrated about not getting better at pottery. However, Cody didn't seem too pleased with this. He appeared out of nowhere and dragged me away. Faye, that guy is a notorious lady killer. Stay away from him. He seems like just a regular dude to me. Okay, to tell you the truth, that guy is from the Wen family, our lifelong nemesis. If your dad knew about this, you're done. I'm a bit concerned, but life isn't a revenge drama. No one can stop me from seeing someone because of some familial feud. Still, I guess I should be careful.
Hey, what you hiding? Faye likes a free spirit. A boring guy only plays with clay all day. No chance.
Well, I think an innocent girl like Faye needs a calm, mature, and collected guy, not some free-spirited, spoiled rich boy who only knows how to spend his parents' money. Every time this happened, I had to throw myself in between them and push them apart. One day, my stepmom caught me coming home after going out with Kai. I panicked and didn't know how to explain, but don't worry, your secret's safe with me. You're stressed out enough. Then she called me in for a deep talk. She apologized for not giving me enough care and kindly asked if I had any difficulties since returning home. Actually, I like pottery, but I haven't improved no matter how hard I worked. The responsibility on my shoulders is so big that it pulls me down. I tried to put up a smile, but there were times that I felt suffocated. Don't push yourself too hard. If it's all too much, take a break and go back to America for a while. A healthy mind comes first and foremost. I'm so lucky to have an understanding stepmother. As soon as she left, Cody stepped out.
I didn't know you were under so much pressure.
Don't worry, there are other ways to help your family besides making good pottery. You're smart. I know you can do it.
So, I started to practice performing tricks with ceramic vases, then set up a TikTok account to upload videos of my performances. They went viral in only a few weeks, gathering millions of views and propelled the pottery shop to fame. And with that, the number of orders grew rapidly. The national pottery competition was coming. My dad excitedly announced that it was a huge opportunity for our family. Our core team worked day and night to create a unique design that would make an impact. The big day finally arrived, and I was tasked with carrying the vase to the exhibition area. I was so excited to be there, but a stranger suddenly bumped into me, leaving me in shock for a few seconds. Oh my god, the vase! Panicked, I hurriedly checked, and luckily, it's okay. Whew, that was close. The competition officially began. I checked out the other displays. They all looked splendid, but the Wen's family vase literally shocked me to my core. It looked exactly like ours. I went straight there to confront them. This is clearly my family's design. You shameless thieves!
Watch your mouth, little girl. And you, keep an eye on your daughter. Don't let her bring shame to your family. Don't tell me how to raise my child. And the vase? The thief will soon be exposed. Come on, Faye.
I knew the design can be copied, but not the material. It's made with our family's secret technique. We had a special substance that made ceramics more durable. Now we just need a little luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner impressed us with its one-of-a-kind design and outstanding quality. The first prize goes to Wen family! However, we also found out one team's product is made with substandard material and under-fired. The judges also suspect them of plagiarizing the Wen's design. We can't accept such disrespect to the craft. Lee family, you're disqualified from this competition.
Before we could recover from the shock, the news already spread like wildfire. Kai tried to explain that he had nothing to do with this, but I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. The Wen family must have made a copy of our vase and swapped it with ours. But when? It's with me the whole time. It could only be... Our business took a nosedive. Orders were canceled, most staff quit, and worse still, everyone here suspected that I swapped the vases since some of them saw me with Kai. My dad didn't take that news so well. He had a stroke and was hospitalized ASAP. No, I had to find out the truth, no matter what. Only 3 people knew the design: Dad, Cody, and me. Right, Cody would know what to do now. Unfortunately, he took some days off to take care of his sick mom, so I decided to come to him again. He'd gone shopping, so his mom welcomed me. Thank you for giving my son a chance and paying him handsomely. Without the money, I might not even be here anymore. Money? What money? My son spent sleepless nights for months to complete your vase. Isn't that why you paid him that well? What? We'd never made Cody work overtime. What money is she talking about? Right then, Cody got home. I immediately confronted him. He denied everything at first, but then he had to give in. Who hired you? Really, I don't know. They texted me from a blocked number, then wire transferred me the money. Faye, my mom's really sick and I had no choice. I never expected such terrible consequences. I'm so sorry, Faye. I ran away ASAP. I can't hear another word. The saddest thing about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemy. When I got home, my stepmom was cooking. Oh my, you look pale. Poor sweetie. I couldn't help but leaped into her arms and burst into tears. She tried to calm me down before bringing Dad his food. I know, I cannot be weak anymore. I'll find out who's behind all this. Whatever it takes. I rummaged through the workshop until late, only to find nothing. Exhausted, I went to sit by the gate for some fresh air, and suddenly saw something in the bush. An envelope. Looks fishy. To not leave any trace, I opened it with steam instead of tearing. It's a Chinese poem, and had the same style as the one I found the other day. By reading the first letter in each line, I got this message. Yo, Chang, Jian, Mian. Meet at the oil factory, it is. The message coded in the other poem also referred to a place. It's gotta be a sketchy meeting to have its spot written in code like that. I quickly put the letter back and searched for the only oil factory in town, then followed the address to an abandoned factory. I ran straight inside, but it was totally empty. Was I wrong? I felt defeated and was about to leave when I suddenly heard a voice from the second floor. I crept up and saw Kai's father with a gang wearing black, and our 12 stolen vases! Right then, a hand patted on my shoulder. What you doing? I turned around to see a creepy face, then pitch black. I opened my eyes with a splitting headache, and my hands all tied up. Who's this? My stepmother, who's arm in arm with Kai's father? Already awake? You're on their side? My father didn't mistreat you. This is how you return the favor? I've had enough of your old man, a tyrant and self-proclaimed smart man. I deserve someone who loves and pampers me, like Mr. Wen here.
If your father had been truly smart, he would have realized long ago that he had nurtured a serpent in his bosom. That Cody boy.
Just wait and see. I will expose your scheming. Ha! In your dream? I already bought a plane ticket back to America. Be prepared to be welcomed by another orphanage. I even wrote your old man a touching welfare letter. He'll definitely have another stroke once he reads it. The secret letter has exposed you, and other evidence will soon be found. You can't get away with this. Do you mean this, feisty girl? In fact, what letter? Just then, the wind blew and swept the burning letter to some old oil containers at the corner, setting it aflame. The fire spread with lightning speed. They all ran for their life, leaving me behind. The smoke was thick, stinging my eyes. I was about to faint when...
Cody kicked the door open, dashed in, and untied me, while Kai covered me with his jacket. You? There's no time! Run! Then quickly carried me away from the fire. When we got to safety, the entire factory exploded. Okay, can you two explain everything now? I felt guilty about the pottery competition, so I secretly followed my father to find out the truth for you. I came to your house to apologize, but saw you rushing somewhere looking worried. That's why I decided to follow you, and I can't believe that the person hiring me is your stepmother. Me neither. Anyway, thanks. But I'm still mad at you. Are you okay now? I'm fine. I'm not sure about them, though. Animators, please replay the previous scene. Yep, I managed to record everything. With this priceless evidence, of course my so-called stepmother and Wen had to plead guilty and go to prison. My father was discharged from the hospital, and our 12 ceramic vases were returned. Now that our family's name's cleared, business is booming. After this incident, I learned to cherish our pottery workshop more. Determined to continue my family business, I started learning pottery properly to prepare for next year's competition. Root for me, peeps! And of course, I still have these two guys by my side. Only it looks like they no longer want to just be friends with me. What should I do? Please help me by commenting down below if you're hashtag Team Kai or hashtag Team Cody.
Hi everyone. Have you ever had someone get revenge on you? It's not fun, right? Well, this is my story about revenge, but with a twist. You won't believe who my prankster turned out to be. Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm Audrey, and I'm 24. To say I've had an unhappy life would be an understatement. Firstly, my dad ditched my mom for another woman. And not long after that, my mom passed away from a serious illness. Basically, my entire life fell apart in a matter of months, and I was still too young at that time. It was tough growing up, and I always think that my life could never turn the page again. But on one fine day, someone popped into my life and changed everything. His name was Jim, and he was 7 years older than me, and he seriously turned my life around. He lived in another city, but he often came to my city on business trips. We fell for each other quickly. That happiness didn't last long, though. One day I was working in the clothes store when a girl around the same age as me came in. She wanted my help to choose some dress, but she was pretty rude to me and I kept catching her staring at me with evil eyes. Who was she? And why was she treating me like that? Finally, after about 2 hours, she made up her mind and picked up only a tie that she wanted to buy for her husband instead. I was relieved to get rid of her, but shocked when I saw the name on her credit card. Jim Stewart. Her husband had the exact same name as my boyfriend. What a coincidence. She must have caught me staring at the card because she suddenly said, "Yes, Jim is my husband. Now stay away from him." What? Her husband? My Jim. Before I even had a chance to react, she turned to everyone in the store and said, "This girl is a gold digger, and she's trying to break up my marriage." I was shocked. I tried to explain that it wasn't true, but she wouldn't listen to me. She just stormed out, and I was left standing there hearing people whispering about me. It was the most humiliating moment of my life. I immediately ran to the staff room and called Jim. I was really hoping it had all been a big misunderstanding, but I could tell from Jim's tone that it was the truth. He told me he'd lied to me, and that he actually lived in the same city. He just made up the business trip stuff so he wouldn't have to see me often. Then he said, "Audrey, I honestly love you. I'm serious about us." Hang on, was he for real? It was ridiculous. I was disgusted by him. How could he treat me like that? I hung up and felt horrified. It brought back horrible memories of the woman who stole my dad away from my mom. I didn't want to be that woman. The next day, I moved out of the house Jim had rented for me. I didn't want to be associated with that loser anymore. But life works in mysterious ways. The day I moved into my new house, I saw Jim's wife. And you won't believe it. It seemed that she just moved in next door too. Was this some kind of joke? As soon as she saw me, she smirked and said, "Wow, what a coincidence. Hello, neighbor. I'm Linda." Seeing her unpacking her stuff all by herself, I couldn't help but wonder where Jim was. But then I thought maybe Linda had ended things with him and had moved here alone. I hope so anyways. I'd hate to have Jim as a neighbor. So that's when my new life began. And it has been crazy ever since. From that first week of living there, Linda started pranking me. It all began with her throwing trash into my yard. I even caught her doing it and she just grinned and said, "Oops, my hand slipped." Then she walked away laughing. It made me furious. And that was just the beginning. One weekend, a delivery guy rocked up on my porch with 10 extra large pizzas. I tried to explain I hadn't ordered them, and that's when Linda appeared at my door and said, "Oh, thanks for ordering me dinner, Audrey. I'm starving." Then she grabbed 5 of the pizzas and ran to her house, leaving me there with a bill of $100. Jeez, it was so annoying, and I had no option but to pay. Linda was too much. Seriously. As much as her pranks drove me up the wall, I also felt sorry for her. I knew what it was like to have someone you love stolen away from you. She must have hated me so much for ruining her marriage, even though it hadn't been my fault. I decided to just put up with her pranks. She'd get over it eventually, and it's not like they were harming me, right? Well, one night I heard the doorbell. I wasn't expecting anyone and was surprised to see a young guy standing there with a poster that said, "I agree to be your boyfriend. Come out with me." I was totally puzzled and told him he had the wrong house, but then he showed me the address on the other side. It was my address. What on earth? I told him I wasn't interested, but he tried to grab my hand and said, "Come on, girl, don't be shy." I told him if he didn't leave me alone, I'd call the police. So luckily, he ran away. Needless to ask, I knew for sure that was Linda's joke. But this time she had taken it too far. I decided to go over and have a word with her once and for all. As I was walking to her house, I saw someone familiar on the other side of the road. I couldn't believe it. It was my dad? So many years had passed, and he'd completely changed. But there was no doubt it was him. I suddenly blurted out, "Dad?" But I didn't know what to do next. I was just thinking about my next move when I felt someone behind me. I turned around and saw Linda. She just smirked at me and walked away. What was her problem? Did she hear what I just said? I was so shocked at seeing my dad, I ran back into my house. I hated him for what he'd done to my mom. But he was still my dad, and I wanted to know if he was okay and what he was doing here. I barely slept that night as I couldn't stop thinking about my dad. The next morning, I was sitting by the window when he appeared again. This time, he was with Linda, and she was holding his arm. What was she doing with my dad? Why were they so close? Later that day, I saw him again, and this time, he and Linda were hugging. OMG, were they dating? Maybe Linda had heard me call him dad, and now she was flirting with him to truly get revenge on me. This was too much. The thought of Linda as a stepmom made me want to puke. I waited and waited, but he was inside her house and there was no sign of him leaving. Eventually he left, and as soon as he was in his car, I ran over to her house. I was shaking as I knocked on the door, and as Linda opened it, I said, "You are way too much. Can you just stop with the revenge already?" Linda looked confused and said, "What the heck are you talking about?" Linda still didn't seem to get it, and I was about to explain when I heard footsteps. I turned around and my dad was right there. He said, "What's the matter, Linda? Why are you fighting with this stranger?" Huh? Stranger? Didn't he recognize me? Then Linda butted in and said, "It's okay, Dad. We're just having a misunderstanding here." What? Dad? Is he your dad? Really? I stammered. "Yeah, why? What's the matter?" He said, "Linda, you don't need to lie to me. I know you're dating my dad to get revenge on me," I continued. "Whoa, hold on. What do you mean your dad?" Linda gasped. At that, my dad looked confused too, and walked to me and asked if he could look at my hand. After seeing my birthmark, he started crying and hugging me. "Audrey, it's you. It's really you." I didn't know how to react, so I just let him hug me. It had been so long since anyone had held me like this. Ever since my mom had died, I'd tried to be strong and keep it together, but suddenly I couldn't hold back anymore. I burst into tears in his arms. We stood like that for a long time, and eventually he took me into Linda's house and told me the story. It turned out, after he left me and my mom, he got tricked by that woman, and he was so ashamed, he decided to move to another city and start over. He was working hard on a construction site one day when he got injured, so he ended up in hospital. And that's when he met Linda. She'd been in a car accident and needed a blood transfusion urgently. She has a pretty rare blood type, but luckily my dad had the same type and he volunteered to give her a transfusion. After that, they became quite close, and seeing as Linda had lost both her parents in the car accident, my dad eventually adopted her. I couldn't believe it. My dad had been through so much, and this whole time, I thought he was off living his life with a rich woman. I felt so bad for him and decided to leave the past behind and forgive him. As for Linda, she was also left confused by this coincidence, so she left the room to process everything, while I and Dad took time to catch up on our lives. Later, Linda prepared dinner for us three, and before we digged in, she shyly grabbed my hand and said, "Audrey, I've been so awful to you. I'm sorry. I know you aren't the one responsible for my divorce, but I still felt upset, and that's why I played all those pranks. That was so childish, right? Please forgive me, sister." We laughed it off, then hugged each other to make peace. I couldn't believe it. After all these years of being lonely, suddenly I had a sister, and my dad was back. My life had finally turned a corner, and I almost laughed at the thought that it was all because of meeting Jim. At least one good thing had come out of that disastrous relationship.